We the people.
Or if you want headphones, you want to like $1 bill. $4 is your second level. Go ahead with the first deal. Standard 182.
Is that part of the anthem?
No, that's not part of the national anthem.
Oh my god. Alrighty. Welcome to the show.
I want it on record. I was the only one that stood at attention for the anthem.
That wasn't the national anthem, dude.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
No, it was very beautiful. Yeah.
That was like some rearranged lyrics thing.
Yeah. My bad.
Let's play ball. Rob 78 said, let's play ball.
Right? Yeah, so we got a pretty good show for you tonight here, folks. 1985. We've all picked our top 10 favorite movies from the year, and we're going to rank them. Their rank will be based on how many people picked it. So if one person picked it, it gets a rank of D. If 4 people picked it, it gets a rank of A. And if everyone picked it, it gets a rank of S, which is the best. So, M3, do you want to start off by addressing the chat and saying hello to everyone who's there?
Well, yes, Prophet. Thank you for letting me do that. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. What's up, man? Rob 78. What's up? Geeks here. I'm here. Brian King is here. What up, Brian King? Thanks for jumping in, you guys. Curtis Schultz is here. Queen Bee is also here. And we have just started. That's great. How you guys?
Fantastic. Fantastic. So yeah, why don't we go down before we get started? Why don't we go down to Hilarious? His neighbors across the street are hilarious. The French girl, Monique, he hooks up with is amazing. And I'll pass it on by saying it's a damn shame when people be throwing away a perfectly good white boy like that. Why don't we go down to the bottom now? Digital, why don't you pick it up?
I remember seeing this movie once or twice, and you know, I don't remember it not being funny. I remember thinking it was funny. Just, you know, I just don't watch it very often. There's the scene you were talking about, throwing away perfectly good white boys.
There you go. And not to mention, it had my absolute dream car in the 69 Camaro. Ed, how about you? What did you think of Better Off Dead?
I'll keep it short and sweet. There were much better movies for me in 1985, a tough list. And this one's funny. Yeah, it's funny, but it could make my top 10.
There you go. Frank, how about you?
Bro, I couldn't agree better. I mean, you said it pretty damn good. I mean, it's a damn good movie. It made me laugh. I watched it every time. It was on HBO or Max, Cinemax. But there's so much variety in 1985. It didn't cut the list. I'm sorry, guys.
Right. I mean, and I can't be mad at I can't be mad at you guys for not liking it. I mean, I don't like Adam Sandler movies anymore, right? So there you go. M3, how about you?
We watched this together the other 3 weeks ago. It's a really good movie. I do like One Crazy Summer slightly better than this. I'm not sure what year it came out, but John Cusack is a good actor. I like him. He's really just a mellow, regular dude, and I like him in 2012, and I also like him in Frozen Ground. Good movies. He's a good guy. Great movie. That's all I gotta say.
And it's I'll add this too. It's really nice that Freddy Krueger got vengeance for Seth getting dumped by Beth by killing her as Tina in the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
This is true.
Curtis, what about you? Anything to say about Better Off Dead?
Yeah, it's funny. You know, I like the cast in it. You know, you had Booger in it from Curtis Armstrong's his name, I believe, right? Booger from Revenge of the Nerds in it, and yeah, it was funny. And you know, that kid kept showing up. I want my $2. That was funny, you know. But yeah, I had a bunch. I mean, it was a great year for movies.
You know, that is such an iconic quote that you can say, I want my $2 to the right group that you're talking to, and they get what you're talking about.
Yeah. Right. Personally, I like his little brother Badger with his book on how to pick up trashy women, and he's got a bedroom full of hookers. That's hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm the only one that picked it, so it gets a rank of D. Now, this next film, another one only picked by me, and unlike Better Off Dead, I think that's a freaking travesty. Clue is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is perfectly cast. Tim Curry is magnificent in it.
Yes.
Everybody in the Madeline Kahn, Leslie Ann Warren, Martin Mull, everybody in it. Christopher Lloyd. Like, come on, this movie is fucking fantastic. It had this awesome gimmick in the theaters where, depending on what theater you went to, it got a different ending. This movie is just magnificent, and I think it's a shame that no one else picked it. Go ahead, Frank.
So, is there a DVD or a Blu-ray out there of the alternate endings? I never.
Well, the version that they show now, like if they show it on TV or on video,
yeah,
it has all the endings in a row, and it says, "But this is how it could have happened."
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. No, this movie is great, and it's nonstop. And did you smoke and you watch this one? It's fun. It's great. You can totally get into it. You can see everybody's got a little secret. Everybody got a little P. Diddy in them,
Whoa.
So
I don't know about that.
Shut up, Baby Will.
it's a little Epstein Islandish and shit, dude. But it's comedy in the '80s. It's not fucking sad reality of today. So, but yeah, I can roll with it. I'll leave it open for you, M3.
Oh, hey, thanks. Yeah, when I do happen to go to porn, I do look up maid titties because of maid titties. This one is just for the maid titties. A whole movie. I don't care what else goes on and what the plot is about. Every time she came out, great. That's all I gotta say.
Maid titties.
See, now I thought you'd have been down for the Cook's titties. They were much bigger. Ed, how about you? Which titties did you like the best?
My own.
He's not laughing, shit. Oh, titties.
Oh, Lordy. I probably saw this movie once, but don't really remember it. But I remember how clever it was. I know Netflix later on did Bandersnatch. Does anybody remember Bandersnatch? And it had different
Vaguely.
endings.
A couple
on
times in high
Netflix.
school, but I was desperate.
Okay, but anyway, it copied that formula. So I think that was groundbreaking for the time and all that. But I'll have to give it a watch sometime. it is a great cast.
Damn good.
Curtis, how about you?
Yeah, I really like this movie. Shame on me, I didn't pick it.
Ooh.
It was
Shame.
shame on me, man.
Shame.
Back then, me and my
Boo
friends
this
used,
man.
Boo.
back then, me and my friends used to play the game all the time, and then this came out, and we were like, yeah, and it was great.
Were
Great.
you the maid?
No.
Oh,
That's what he dresses up on this weekend.
All right, let Curtis talk. It's his turn.
sorry.
A-holes.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're a bunch of
Good.
a-holes.
Next
Sorry.
person.
All right. Yeah, and what you were saying about the game, people say that there's never been a successful movie based on a game. I would say liars.
Yes.
Digital, how about you?
Like you said, I think this was Tim Curry at his best. And this is probably one of the first movies I remember seeing Tim Curry in. And, I thought he was great. Of course, boo me because I didn't pick it either. But,
Jeez.
it was a cool movie. And I thought it was a really, cool gimmick at the time. I didn't know it at the time. This is something, I learned later about the alternate endings. And, you had to go see it multiple times to get different endings, and you weren't always guaranteed that you were going to get a different ending. And I want to say, we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, Prophet, you and I said when it came out on video is when they put all the endings together the first time. And I think it was the first time they showed it on TV.
Yeah.
Was the first time that they put all of the endings together. And then later it was released. It was released on VHS after that. But it's a good movie, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Damn it!
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, for shame. No, but yeah, you're right, Digital. This movie is it's the TV was the first time that it showed the where they had the endings where it was like, but this is how it could have ended,
right?
And there were like two of those, and then it was, but this is how it really ended. Which is really great and really genius, and it's a fantastic movie, and it's a travesty that it's a rank of D. But what are you gonna do? Next on the list,
85, yo.
we've got Commando, and this was picked by 4 people, I believe: Digital Caveman, Ed, M3, and Moto Viper.
Yes.
Digital, you're at the bottom. Why don't you start us off on Commando?
Well, first of all, anybody that was my age, you probably had the hots for Alyssa Milano, so she grew up and became, well, what she is today. But anyway, back during those times, you didn't think about that kind of stuff. And the one-liners in this movie, I mean, it's an action movie, but it really should be considered a one-liner movie because it's so packed full of one-liners. And I'm not gonna take away and do a bunch of them, but I'm gonna do my favorite one. And it's when he comes back to the car and Ray Dong Chong goes, "What happened to Sully?" He says, "I let him go," because he had promised to release him, and he did. He dropped him down the damn cliff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does have great action in it, and I think the chemistry between Schwarzenegger and Ray Dong Chong was I think it was pretty good.
Nice. Moto, how about you?
Oh God, I love this movie. It's 1B of my top of all my Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. There's not a Schwarzenegger movie that I don't love. This is my all-time. We all grew up with this guy. This dude is the shit. And this movie right here had, like you said, so many one-liners. I mean, it was just great. You know what I mean? Look at this. Look at this one. I want to leave so much open. I could talk about this movie, but just come on. You want to put the dagger in me. It's me you want. Take me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just fucking, I love it. And yeah. Yeah, I'll leave. I'll have to shut up, guys. 'Cause I could.
Yeah, you didn't want to talk long about it, but I'm sure Ed does. Let's see what he has to say.
Oh man,
Actually, I don't because it's not Terminator. I wasn't a big Conan fan. I know that's weird, but after Terminator, I don't think I missed an Arnold film, and this was a fun film. It was just a lot of fun, and anybody knows
When
me.
he's done, Frank.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, anybody knows me knows I'm a massive Terminator fan. So anything that Arnold does, especially in that line, I'm there. And this is just a fun film. So that's all I'll say.
Frank, what did you want to add?
I want to ask the panel to all tell me that their best kill in this movie, and I'll start with me. And mine is when he snaps the brother's neck in the airplane, and the way his arms flew back. Fucking had me rolling, but then he covered him up and said, "Don't disturb my friend. He's dead, tired." That's and
Nice.
I mean, there's a saw blade, but I'll let somebody else take the circular saw blade if they want it.
Right. Before we go to UM3, I'm going to go ahead and let Ed and Digital both answer that question for Frank.
I'm
think-
just gonna, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
I'm just going to quickly say I'm in total agreement with what Viper said. So
All right, Digital.
Well, since Ed didn't pick one, I'm going to pick two.
oh come on, we got something to pick too.
Yeah. Don't steal him. Don't steal him.
So many.
So, yeah, I think I already gave it away. You know, it's when he drops Sully off the cliff. What happened to Sully? I let him go.
M3, how about you? Why don't you tell us what you thought of the movie and answer Frank's question?
Yeah, actually, when Frank was talking before he mentioned the last part of what he was saying, I was gonna be like, "Ooh, I want to mention the saw blade. I want to mention the saw blade because that's the first time I ever seen somebody get a fucking 6-inch or 7-inch fucking saw blade fucking tap, and he did the guy who did that did pretty good. He fucking went back with a neck snack, and it fucking went back right here. Yeah, definitely wasn't my favorite part of the movie, but man, the movie is fantastic. I mean, it's a ultimate classic, man, ultimate classic. I love it. It's great. That's all I gotta say. Everybody else go get perfect.
Right. Yeah. It had a massive kill count. To answer your question, Frank, for me, I think the best one-liner for a kill is when he said, "Sully, remember when I told you I'd kill you last? I lied," and he drops him.
Oh my god!
I think the best kill was let off some steam, Bennett.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie is this was like the birth of Arnold's like one-liner reputation, which is crazy because right before this he did Terminator and Conan, which were barely any liners for him.
Yeah.
And then in this, it's like one-liner after another. You know, the only movie I think he did more one-liners than this was Batman and Robin. Curtis, what did you think of the movie?
I liked this movie a lot when I was a kid. I watched it all the time, of course, Alyssa Milano and stuff, and it was just in Ray Chong Dong and all them people in there were good.
I think you meant Ray Dong Chong.
Yeah, Ray Dong Chong. What did I say?
Ray Dong Chong.
Oh,
Or Ray Chong Dong. I think.
Radar dong. What?
my favorite one-liner is the one that Prophet just said. So I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit. Prophet director, you remember when I said I was going to kill you last?
You've been trying to. You've never said it. You've been keeping it on the down low, but I know, man.
Nice.
I'm just playing. I was never going to try killing nobody.
Yeah, that's
This
this
is an
said
ongoing
spoken
joke.
just like someone who would try to kill me.
that's what they want you to think.
Oh. But yeah, it was good. I liked it a lot.
Oh,
Great
gosh.
movie.
Great film, and picked by 4 people, so it gets a rank of A.
Now, may I add something real quick?
Real quick.
Yeah, okay. Now, when you had mentioned what you did about Commando, I wouldn't mind doing a show just on Arnold Schwarzenegger movies alone. Maybe Van Damme, things like that. But I wouldn't mind doing a like how we did a Marvel. Let's do
Action.
a Schwarzenegger, man.
Action movie.
Well, the next one is going to be Christmas. We're doing Christmas
Oh,
after this
yeah.
one.
But we could throw that in there. I mean,
Yeah, somewhere down the line for sure.
Because I mean, try to
25.
pick your favorite Schwarzenegger movie. You know what I mean? Some of it's going to be Jingle All the Way.
Well, that's on
Give me
my
the
Christmas list.
doll.
Anyways, we're moving on. The
It's
next
not a
film on the
Puma.
list was picked only by Moto.
Mm-hmm.
The third in a trilogy from George Romero. Moto, why don't you tell us a little bit about Day of the Dead?
Day of the Dead being picked only by me is a travesty because at first the scariest movie was created at night, and then it bled into the dawn of the next morning, which brought us the Day of the Dead. This is when everybody knew all hell breaks out. This is almost like the opening of The Walking Dead, y'all. But this is a ragtag crew of scientists plus military personnel trying to find survivors, doing what they can. Some of these motherfuckers are weak in the head and are just fucked up crazy and suicidal. This guy right here, he calls them their children.
That's Ed.
And he wants to tame them.
I'm just kidding.
There's our boy Bud. I mean, this movie to me was iconic. This is one of those ones that I rented from the local video store, and I fucking replayed this movie over and over and over again because, like I said, when I was 10 and I saw Dawn of the Dead, I was fucking hooked. So this was the next one that came out for me, for Romero, well, for everybody actually, for Day of the Dead. And then when Homeboy, watch his throat, look at that throat. Oh, when Homeboy, that crazy captain right there, when his demise comes and I says, I hope y'all choke on me, and his voice changes as they pull the head off the shoulders. Okay, I've said too much. I got to leave it open because for those who know, you know, but if anybody's got anything to add, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll go all night on this one.
Curtis, how about you?
Yeah, I like this movie. It's in the series. It runs with the series like pretty good, I think, you know, and great, you know, special effects as usual, getting better every time with each movie. And yeah, it made me look forward to another one coming out, but yeah. That's it for me. So
Nice. M3, why don't you tell us what you thought of it and address the chat for us?
Oh, yes. First, I'll start my joke off with the punchline. Suck it, motherfuckers. And then the joke is, I've never seen it. Shout out Rob78 said 100% Day of the Day zombie goodness. And Rob Talk said, yo, the Day of the Dead is my shit. I know
Right.
Commander Lifer line. Yeah, hey, what's up? That's great.
That's
Nice.
I'll tell you.
Digital,
what.
how about you?
Okay, this is going to be one of the few times that I'm going to agree totally with M3. I've never seen this movie.
Mark it down on the calendar, man. We all can get along after all.
Nice. Ed, how about you? Anything to add about Day of the Dead?
I thought this was a documentary about the election we just had.
Oh.
Enough said.
Nice. It's not every day you hear a leftist making a Biden joke.
yeah,
I will say this, like this, in my opinion, is the weakest of the three of the trilogy. It's still a great movie. It just wasn't the best of the three, in my opinion. And incidentally, this only had half of the crew because they had a split between Dawn of the Dead and this one. And incidentally, the other half of the crew made their own sequel to Dawn of the Dead, which is also on Frank's list later on in this show.
yep.
But since Frank is the only one that picked it, it gets a rank of D. Moving on, the next film on the list,
It was a home run.
Enemy Mine,
Win.
picked only by Ed.
What the hell?
So,
is
Ed,
sorry.
why don't you tell us why you love Alien Babies?
Because you guys are all stupid. That's all I'll say. This is one of the best films. This is
Fucking hard, bro.
This is an awesome film. Oh, wait a minute. What film are we talking about? No, this is
Brokeback
an
Planet.
awesome film. This is an awesome film. This isn't the oh, okay, it's in black and white. How is this not an awesome film? This is up there with The Last Starfighter for 80s films.
Great.
I mean, it is a great film. God, everything about it is it's just really cool. And like from a science fiction point of view, this is like one of the greatest science fiction films of all time.
All right, M3, why don't you give us your opinion and put your homophobia on display?
This movie's fine. My dad brought it home. He really enjoyed it. These are really good, iconic characters. Lou Gossett Jr. is amazing at everything he does. I like him. This movie was great all the way until he got pregnant at the end. Spoiler alert, it's been 35 years. Sorry, but great movie. Kind of weird. Even at 9 years old when I saw it, I was like, huh, what? Dad, did and my dad was just shaking his head. True story. That's all I gotta say.
All right, Digital, how about you?
You know, it's not that I don't like this movie. It's just I didn't feel like it was top 10 material because there was just so many other movies that were so much better than this. And this is one I never saw in the theater. I saw it on VHS, and you know, who said? I think M3 said it. I'm going to agree with M3 again. That you know, Louis Gossett Jr. is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
And you know, it's all good until you know Dennis Quaid plays P. Diddy with the alien.
Oh, quit.
No, he didn't. He didn't, dude. You're wrong about
He
that.
got those.
All right. Well, it
100
sounds like Frank is going to defend your point, Ed. So we'll let Frank go next.
Oh no, I wasn't going to defend it. He talks about it how they multiply, and something to do with some solar, some cycle, some shit. But this movie is good, and that's the problem with 1985, y'all. Is it? This movie was this close to making it to my list, but there's better for me. There was better shit that I enjoyed more. I rented this and I watched it the whole weekend. I rented it, and then by the time it hit cable, it was always on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never picked up on that 35 years later, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean? But then I had to go back because it was brought up a few days ago, and then he says why that there's like a cycle. You know what I mean? Where they do it. And then that's why he dies and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a damn good movie. Damn good movie. Just not enough there for me personally, in my opinion, to make the top 10 of 1985.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought it was a fine film. There were at least 10 movies that were better, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Curtis, how about you?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the cast, of course. It was really, I thought it was pretty good, but I watched it all the time with my brothers on cable back in 87 or something like that when it was on cable. And it, you know, we all liked it. But yeah, I had a bunch more movies that I liked a little bit better than this one, and he was kind of like Louis Gossett Jr.'s race was kind of like a bug race. So that's how he got pregnant. You know, it's like a cockroach kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So yeah.
Can I say two things, Prophet?
Sure.
I'm sorry. Were you done, Curtis? Please forgive me. Fuck, sorry.
I am now.
No, I mean,
No, I'm done.
Well, M3, don't worry. Curtis is not going to let one go by. If he can make you feel bad about it, he's going to. Just go on.
I know.
hey, but shout out to Pop the Trunk and OG Skywatch. They are here, and I thought all my life until right now that Louis Gossett Jr. and Quaid's characters had sex in their little bunker. Is that not accurate?
No, that's not accurate at all. That's just you reading into
wrong.
Things with your own fantasies.
Yeah, that was
You gotta rewatch it, bro. You gotta rewatch it. You'll see.
I like that.
and
Right. Any way you slice it, this movie was great, but my favorite Dennis Quaid movie will be up in a couple of years.
Can I add one point?
No.
Just one.
Yes.
One part.
Yeah, let him.
Sure. Let's try to get our points out when it's our turn, though.
I know. I apologize, but I thought about this later. This reminded me of the really good Star Trek Next Generation episode where Picard was on a planet and it's called Darmok, and it's where he has to talk with this alien character. Well, he has to talk with this alien character, and they speak in like metaphors, like Darmok.
I told you needed something louder.
Sorry, Ed, but we're not reviewing Star Trek today. We're reviewing movies from 1985.
Oh, bro, because this one would have been before Star Trek Next Generation.
Saying that, yes, it inspired it, that episode, which is great.
Way.
That's not the one I would have picked.
Nice.
But...
Well, hey, maybe we could do an episode about Star Trek films where we rank the Star Trek movies.
Yes, and I'll interrupt it with a fucking another movie.
I'll have zero, so I won't have any on there.
Really? You
and
hate
it'll
Star
be
Trek that much, good?
For M3,
I actually like the newer movies.
For
Crazy,
M3,
crazy.
and I'm sorry, I just seem to be picking on you tonight, M3. But for M3, it's gonna be like normal. He'll be like, I've never seen this.
Right? Yeah, the whole damn show, right? Yeah, I think that might be a different panel. That might just be Ed, Digital, myself, and Moto for that one.
Yeah.
Hey, just let me point something out. Even though you're looking at these rankings, every fucking one of these movies are bangers, bro.
Yes.
It's just a matter of opinion of 6 dudes right now.
Right. Yeah, well, that's the tier they wind up in is based on how many of us pick it. So,
I mean, are you guys able to put up that little fucking quiz thing, that vote that I see other people do? Like, what is your best movie of 85? What's your worst movie of 85? Get chat involved in that shit? Because 85 was great.
They can just post it in the chat.
I think we did that one episode and like only one person.
Right. Well, you know what? At the end of the day,
it's catching on, dude. We're growing. It's catching on. If you notice, it's happening, which is great.
It is. Well, and I tell you, at the end of each show, I say, hey, if you want us to mention your top 10, you've got to put it in the comments after the stream is over on Curtis's channel.
Please
do that. We'll bring up your top 10.
We'll do a tally of the chat's top 10, and who's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc.
Well. But for now, we're moving on. The next film on the list is M3's pick, Explorers.
Nice movie.
Oh my God, so hard to leave off.
Go ahead, M3.
Great movie. All 3 characters did really well with exactly how we were when we were that age, dude. And we watched it the other night, me and Kurt and shit. And who else jumped in with this, Kurt? But I love this movie. It was something that I watched at school. The teacher brought out the TV, and we were able to watch it there, and all the kids loved it. Nobody said it sucked. We were all like, nobody was throwing popcorn balls or nothing. Like, we were like all staring at the movie. At least I was. Shit.
I think maybe it was Bullwinkle.
Was it Bull?
I think.
Yeah, but great movie. There's a lot to say about it, and I feel like I could have been in this movie, like doing exactly what these kids do.
Right?
Great. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. Great movie.
Yeah, I too loved this movie as a kid. I thought it was fantastic. Rest in peace to not Ethan Hawke, the Wolfgang, the kid that plays Wolfgang, River Phoenix. Rest in peace, River Phoenix. Yeah, this movie's amazing. The effects were fantastic. And I absolutely love the fact that the all-powerful smart aliens that they were going into space to meet were just a couple of teenagers that stole their dad's car. Fantastic plot. I love that they made their spaceship out of a tilt-a-whirl car they found in the junkyard. Just fucking amazing film. Loved it. Moto, what did you think?
Oh man, who would have thought that this would be an all-star cast watching this back then? But this is Goonies in space for me. The adventure and the ingenuity and the way they brought it all together. I mean, it made you believe as a kid that you could do this. You could fucking do this.
Mhm.
And they made it up to space, and they played all the 1980s and 70s that were famous commercials and sitcom shows and shit like that, and that made it cool, made it retro. But yeah, it was good, man. It was good, and then there's more I could say, but I have to leave it open for others, so I'll pass the mic.
Right. It's nice that the ship is made from 2x4s and duct tape, just like NASA. Ed, how about you?
I never saw it. Skip me.
Really? All right.
You should.
Digital, have you seen it?
I'm sorry, I had a glitch. Were you talking to me?
Yes, digital. Have you seen
My
Explorer?
internet was crapping out. Yes, I love this movie. Who, as a kid, didn't want to go get a bunch of junk and build a damn spaceship after watching this movie?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think Frank hit it on the head when he said it's Goonies in space.
Mhm.
And then, the real kick of it at the end when it's the kids that stole their dad's car.
Mm-hmm.
So great movie.
Good
I
stuff.
thought-
Curtis, how about you?
Yeah, it was a great movie. I liked this a lot. I watched it all the time. This was me and my friends. This type of stuff we did, went and built stuff, went out.
Yes.
We were always doing something. It was great. It was a great movie. You guys pretty much covered it all, though. But yeah,
God bless you, Curtis, for saying that.
Yeah.
You nailed it, bro.
I remember my friends and I being really upset that we couldn't find a busted up tilt-a-whirl of our own to make one out.
yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, there was no room on the list for most of us. So as M3 was the only one who had room on his list,
Great
it
pick.
gets a rank of D.
Game 3, that's a banger, dude.
Yeah, it is a banger.
Well, it's like Frank was saying earlier. All these movies are great.
Yeah.
But, the ranking system is based on how many of us on the panel pick it. And you know what I mean? So a D rank on this list could very well be A rank anywhere else.
Exactly.
It's just this is how it turned out the way that we rank things here. So and keep in mind, like every movie, even the D ranks, all made someone's top 10.
Yeah.
Mentally, it made all of our top 10s. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
Then we
right.
got to choose, and that's what sucks.
Well, the next film on the list
Hey, can we get
is Fletch, picked by myself and Curtis.
Another good one.
This
Let me go
movie,
first.
you know what, Curtis? Why don't you start us off on Fletch?
Fletcher is good. It had me laughing and rolling with my friends as a kid, and then it was about him being he was like a news guy, I believe, right? And, journalist, yeah, and he's kind of undercovering stuff, and some guy was trying to pay him to kill him and stuff, and he had a young Gina Davis in there smoking hot. And then the other girl that was really smoking hot, that I can't think of her
Not a
name.
good gum to tooth ratio, bro.
Yeah. A what?
Not a good gum to tooth ratio, though, with Gina Davis.
All right, man. That's fine. But it was her beginning type
I'm
thing.
sorry.
It was I thought it was really funny movie. But I'll let Prophet go out because Prophet can explain it way better.
Well, I disagree on Gina Davis's gum ratio, but that's neither here nor there. This movie is fantastic. This movie is a great illustration of Chevy Chase's ability to be a chameleon. And to this day, I still say, like, whenever someone, when I'm in a restaurant and they hand me the bill, I'm like, oh, just put it on the Underhills tab. I still say that shit to this day. I think the movie's one of Chevy Chase's best. I think it's a lot better than the second one, Fletch Lives, even though that one was also funny, but this is much, much funnier than the second one.
Yeah.
But that's the case with most movies. They take an original concept and then they beat it to death and then continue to beat it even further. But yeah, like Chevy Chase, like all the different characters he plays in this are fantastic. There's some dream sequences in here that are just hilarious. Just Fletch, man. If you haven't seen it, why not, man? Go see this movie.
What was that, girl?
Ed, how about you? What do you think of Fletch?
It's a funny film, but it wasn't good enough for my top 10.
All right.
Damn, you really are keeping it quick.
I think Ed's been replaced by Anti-Ed.
He's been
Digital,
replaced
how
by a
about you?
Canadian. I have seen this movie a few times. I don't really remember the specifics from it. I do remember it was Chevy Chase when he was actually funny.
All right.
You know, not so much. You can't really say that so much about him anymore. But I did watch this one. I did watch the sequel to it. So you know, obviously I found this one funny since I watched the sequel. But
he was hilarious in Parks and Recreation.
And
Community.
you mean Community? I tried to watch that. I couldn't get into
we're not
it.
reviewing Community or Parks and
Yeah,
Rec.
okay.
My bad. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
Let's not drift off topic.
That's my fault.
That's our specialty.
Oh shit!
All right, Moto, how about you?
Love this movie. Full of one-liners. You go 3 down, and he's playing a basketball player. That shit was fucking hilarious. You go all the way down to the bottom. that fucking dude was great. I mean, the movie poster gives you a little bit of idea of each character that he goes undercover and does. You know, I love the beach scene. I don't want to expose too much because I think I might be last. Shit, to be honest.
No, M3's last.
Okay. This movie is fucking cool. It's just, again, 1985 is really fucking hard. But this was when it was, you know what I really like about this movie today? Is that everybody could talk shit on each other and it was okay. Nobody got fucking butthurt or canceled or anything like that. And that's what this movie is to me. And I don't want to get political with you, Ed, you son of a bitch. I just bring it up. Don't come attacking me and shit.
I never did.
This is what we grew up with, man.
I assume you were talking about the rest of the crew.
Some like you know how everybody like say like graduated between 90 and 94, but those who graduated between 95 and 2000, their kids are the woke motherfuckers and shit, the weird motherfuckers. So I'll just leave it at that. But with that being said, I wish I could put it on my schedule, but there was just better shit for old little Frankie at 12 years old, except for some movies that came out when I actually turned 13.
All right, M3, how about you? Tell us what you thought of Fletch and then address the chat for us, please.
Well, I can once again, I have not watched this movie, but I know of it, and I love Chevy Chase. There's nothing I don't like about the guy. A Stray Blue One is here, and and we have Raw Talk still here, and Boss Man Time to Eat. Y'all want to see some good stuff? Watching a dude do some shit up on YouTube eating.
Yeah,
good man. Boss Man Time to Eat. Look him up.
Wait, just because of what a Stray typed, I will read that one for us all.
Stray.
What movie made him moist?
Yeah, but glad everybody's here.
Apparently, OG Skywatch, it was Ewoks, the Battle of Endor.
Yes.
Didn't get a theatrical release, though, so wasn't eligible for this. But anyways, moving on. Fletch gets a rank of C because 2 people picked it. Next on the list, Fright Night.
Nice.
Picked by 2 of us again. Ed and I both agreed on Fright Night.
Yeah.
Ed, why don't you start us off on The Vampire Next Door?
It's next to the Lost Boys. This is probably one of my favorite, just kind of like fun horror films. It didn't have to be gory. It didn't have to be over the top. It just was kind of a fun horror film for me. And it was what the 80s did best with horror films before they got kind of dumb and stupid. And I mean, everything now is so gory and disgusting for no reason other than just gore.
Shut up.
So, yeah, I know. I said it. But anyway, it's a good fun film. And Prophet, your stock just went up because you have good taste. What are your thoughts on the film?
Oh, for me, this movie is fantastic, and I'm going to go ahead and steal it from Curtis because I know he wants to say it. But the love interest is Marcy from Married with Children, which is awesome. It also
Original
has
Karen.
the less talented McDowell brother in Roddy McDowell. I mean, I think we have to agree Malcolm is more talented. Let's be real.
Probably the best titties on a character.
But this movie is a fantastic vampire film. Prince Humperdinck as a vampire is fucking awesome. It's great. He's a great villain. He's got that seductive quality that, like, pretty much seduces the main character's mom, basically.
Like me.
And it had the super geeky friend that gets turned, in every single movie from the time.
976.
Right. But yeah, this was like the originator of that. And Ed, there's a lot of women in their 30s and 40s that are upset that you didn't put Twilight on your best vampire movies.
Hey, me and Caveman have a
but I am
policy.
not one of them.
Me and Caveman have a policy. Our vampires don't glisten in the sun.
Yes, no glowing.
No
glowing.
Well, Batman might disagree with you, but hey, what are you
He
gonna
is
do?
mine.
But yeah, this movie is a top tier vampire film in my opinion. Digital, why don't you tell us what you thought?
I thought Roddy McDowell was. I think he was at his best in this. Between this and Planet of the Apes. That's pretty much. I mean, he's been in a bunch of other stuff too, but those are the two things that come to mind when you think of him. And given the choice of those two, even though I love Planet of the Apes movies, the original classic ones, I think he did a much better job in this, and I think it was a really good modern depiction of vampires.
Caveman, did he play
Curtis,
Sword
how about
in
you?
Generations?
I liked it a lot.
that's his brother.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think it's one of my favorite vampire movies. It's up there in the top 5, at least, for sure, I would say, for me. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that because you guys pretty much covered it all.
Nice. Ed, you had something to add before we go to Moto?
No. It was just with Caveman. I'm sorry.
Oh,
He was
right.
asking a
Go ahead,
question.
Moto. What did you think of Friday Night?
Oh, absolutely loved it. Darcy was hot as shit, but she was also in another couple of 80s movies where we saw her Darcy's tatas. But this movie, how it was somebody moving in next door and infiltrating and bringing in the midnight local public cable show dude, because that's what we had back then. I mean, I don't know if you guys had it, but we had public access TV, and we had a couple dudes that would do some stupid ass movies, but it was great. It made it cheesy. I mean, come on, it's 1990, 91, smoking the bong, fucking watching the cheesiest shit you can find. And not that this movie is cheesy, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying this movie is up there with, yeah, dude, let's fucking watch this and let's smoke, because it's one of those fun movies, because as you watch it and you see it unravel and how it ends, and then it just makes you, and then this movie makes me want to recommend 976 Evil.
Yeah.
Curtis,
Yeah, I just
something
wanted
to add?
Yeah, just to let everybody know, if they don't know already, that there was a remake of this. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it was not as good in my opinion.
No.
But it was
Because Roddy McDowell in this, he plays like, here in Chicago, my equivalent of it would have been Son of Svengoolie.
Yes.
Who?
Son of
Svengoolie.
Svengoolie.
What the fuck is that?
It was public access horror host here in Chicago.
Oh, Svengoolie. I seen that fucker in the cartoons at Ross, the little figures. And I was wondering who the fuck he was.
He's still on.
He was a horror host like Elvira or Vincent Price.
I believe
M3, anything to add on Friday Night before you address the chat?
Oh yeah, Friday Night is really good vampire movie. My favorite character, other than the vampire, is the kid that goes, "Brewster, you're so cool." I love that. Hey, and the way they made his freaky ass face, and when he got the fucking cross stamped in his butt, and he's like, fuck smoke. Vampires at that point, I was like, okay, that's what vampires are, and that's how I everything. That's how the great vampire flick. Love it. Fucking that's all I'm gonna say. But Rob 78 still here. He says, "Oh yeah, Fright Night, absolutely frightful." The Stray Blue one said, "What's up, Brian?"
You know what I also like?
Great poster. That's
They
a
all
great
have
poster.
big smiles. They all have that big mouth with the fangs and teeth.
Yeah,
It's a great
Yeah.
question.
It's just
Yeah, I love Friday Night.
Yeah.
You know,
call me weird. but
It's up there in vampire movies for me.
and Blade's here and Boss Man.
But it was picked by two of us, so it gets a rank of C.
It was picked by all of us at heart, bro.
Well, but not on paper, and that's what we're going back to.
I know. This is 85.
Next on the list, this is a digital caveman pick.
So hard.
Red Dawn with Chuck Norris, Invasion USA. Digital, why don't you take us through Invasion USA?
Okay. If you don't get, like goosebumps, but in a bad way from the scene they're showing in the preview right now where the terrorists come up to the house in a truck and launch an RPG into it, then you have no heart, because that made me want to go out and kill a bunch of terrorists. Just oozy them up with like Chuck Norris in the jean jacket with the sleeves ripped out, but of course then I realized
neatly stitched.
At least I realized
that ass fucking movie.
I'm not Chuck Norris. I can't do these things that Chuck Norris can do. I can't push the earth down when I do a push-up. Hell, I can't even do a push-up. So, but great action movie. I think this is probably one of the best Chuck Norris action movies.
Agreed.
I like these better than the what was it where he was the Vietnam vet?
Missing in Action.
Missing in Action. I like it better than the Missing in Action movies. I like it better than Lone Wolf McQuade.
Whoa.
Nah, man. This one is better. And the only thing that really tops this one is Delta Force, but that's only because it's got Lee Marvin in it, as well as Chuck Norris.
Well, all right. Since Frank is absolutely bursting to talk, let's let Frank go next.
Hey, I'm sorry. No, this movie is epic. It's Red Dawn, like you said. It's great. 1985 was very hard to pick everything that you wanted, everything
not
that
ripped stitch.
influenced you. Great. Hell, this guy even has some great one-liners in this movie. Now that I think about it, some good scenes. Obviously, the plot is in the title, and I recommend on a cold, weathery day this season for anybody, whatever cold, weathery it might be for you. Grab a towel, kick back on the couch, click it on, smoke, and check it out. You might be surprised. It's pretty damn cool.
Nice. Curtis, you were in the military. Why don't you tell us about the time you saved a town from an invasion?
Yeah. This is a good movie. I used to watch it a lot as a kid, and am I just saying that because it's Chuck Norris, and if I don't agree with it, he might kill me through the screen? I don't know. It's yeah, I like it. It's a lot of Hollywood, but yeah, that's all I can say.
Look at that.
He's watching you, Kurt.
Okay.
He's looking right at you.
He's so intimidating.
Big ass beer.
Ed, how about you? Anything to add on Invasion USA?
Yeah, once again, another documentary about the results of the election.
Oh, dude.
Chuck Norris is watching you, Ed.
I know he's coming for me, isn't he?
He knows when you're
He's
sleeping.
already there coming.
He knows when you're
It's
awake.
It's a great Chuck Norris film. The what was the other one? I forgot the name of it.
Big Red Wave.
No, his other one.
Oh,
no,
Big
I'm not talking
Red
about
Wave Part 2.
Sore
You
Winters.
talking about Chuck Norris movies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all said the name. Well, Lone Wolf McQuade, I think, was
Yep.
his best.
Oh,
Big Red Wave, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Gloating much. later.
Hey, you're the one that brought it up, Ed.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all fun.
You keep making the jokes in this group, you're gonna keep getting retaliation.
I ain't afraid.
Oh, mom spaghetti, motherfucker. All right, that's why I love you, bro.
All right. M3, any not political biased opinions about this film?
No, not at all. Hey, but this movie right here, I've never seen it nor any other Chuck Norris movie in my life. Shout out to Corey, my
Boo
best
this
friend over
man!
Watching you.
My-
He is watching you, M3.
Shout out Corey, he's in chat. What up, homie? Good to see you, bro.
He
That's
knows
a-
when you're sleeping. He
Yeah,
knows
I mean,
when you're
look,
awake. He's
all
coming
I've
for
got
you
to
when
say
you're
about
awake.
this movie is who other than Chuck Norris could make a sleeveless, not cut off sleeveless denim vest that's tucked into his jeans look good.
Hey, M3, leave
Like nobody but Chuck
headphones
Norris.
down.
Look at Brian King said,
And, hey,
boo.
But anyways, we didn't
it's
have room on
unbuttoned.
our list for it,
And
and therefore Digital was the only one that picked it, and it gets a rank of D.
damn good pick, Digital. Damn good pick.
Moving on,
Thank you.
the next film on the list, picked by myself and M3.
Nice.
This is Tim Curry's other most amazing performance of the year.
fucking Tim Curry,
Yeah,
bro.
this is a Ridley Scott movie before Ridley Scott was Ridley Scotting. This is just an amazing Tim Curry's Devil is what put this in the top 10 for me.
Yes.
Tom Cruise, young Tom Cruise, he was good. The girl from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, she was good. But Tim Curry as Darkness is unbeatable. His all-time greatest devil on screen in the history of cinema is Tim Curry in this film. I can't say enough about Tim Curry. But, the whole problem that happens in this thing is because bitch needs to touch cute fucking unicorn and ruins all the fucking magic. Like, why can't the bitch keep her hands to herself, right? Come on, man. Like, what the hell? If she had left the damn unicorn alone, there wouldn't have been a problem. But then we wouldn't have had a movie. So what are you going to do? I mean, look, that's the way they introduced Darkness.
Yeah.
The hoof coming out of the mirror. Oh, my God. Such a great movie. M3, why don't you give us your opinion on it?
Yeah, everything you just said doubled, bro. The devil himself, they made him look like I think a devil could look, although we know whatever, but yeah, great flick. I just saw it maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. I just threw it on, but perfect fucking flick. And the Goblin was one of my favorite characters, the main Goblin, dope. And just the magic aspect and all that kind of stuff. Really, I like that kind of shit, man. It's cool. Tom Cruise, young baby Tom Cruise, bro. That motherfucker's, I don't know how old he is, but that's good. And I like Tom Cruise. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Now, this may be my own thing, but I think the girl is way hotter when she's in all the black leather that Darkness puts on her than she is when she's dressed all in the princess gear that Tom Cruise likes her in.
Mm-hmm.
Digital, how about you? What did you think of Legend?
I like Legend, and if I'm not mistaken, this is only like fantasy movie that Tom Cruise ever did, right?
I believe you're correct on that.
I can't think of any other one, but it definitely has it goes back to the Old Testament for some of the story, like bitch can't leave the unicorn alone, she can't leave the apple alone, and stuff ensues. But I think Tim Curry is the Darkness is he's fantastic, and yes, she is much hotter in the black leather than the Disney princess gear.
Right. So Digital and I share a fetish. How about you, Curtis?
Yeah, this was a really fun movie to watch as a kid. I mean, still now, but I was a kid when it came out, and I was glued. Shout out to the people who built the stages, and shout out to the people who did the costumes and uniforms, and shout out to the special effects people. This was just great all the way around. Other than that, you guys covered everything. And she is hot in that. Oh my God.
Yes, very, very, very.
Agreed.
Ed, I don't know if you're available at the moment. You seem to be having a conversation with someone else.
Oh, it's my little buddy. Come on, Barkley.
Oh,
Okay.
you got your
Dog, yeah.
Ed's playing with pussy right now.
No.
Oh no, that's his dog.
You're out. Come on.
Legends a great movie. It didn't make my top 10. There were too many good films. It's a great film.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. Frank, anything to add on Legend?
It makes me want to, you know how I said I want to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger show? It makes me want to do a Tim Curry show. It wasn't until recent years I started appreciating the work that this man did. So I could totally do a Tim Curry show. You're right. This is the best devil I've ever seen. The story is great. Very fantasy. But I almost want to say that I think Tom Cruise didn't. To me, it would be fantasy. Maybe you'd label it sci-fi. But Edge of Tomorrow, where he kept fucking dying, coming back, and dying, coming back. To me, that was fantasy. And it was still a great movie.
I would kind of label that science fiction, though.
I get it. No, I get it. There are parts of this movie that are long and drawn out, but it fills in the pieces of the puzzle. But to me, once again, it's not Tom Cruise or the girls from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's Tim Curry who fucking steals this show. I mean, when this motherfucker smiles, just the way God created his smile, the way it grabbed onto the fangs, stayed on the fangs when he smiled, that I pick up on little things like that, and I thought it was fucking great. I wish I could have picked it, but once again, 1985.
Couldn't agree more. M3, it looks like Bullwinkle has an opinion about a different devil.
I don't know, Prophet. Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate might be the best. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt myself from reading your comment. Yeah,
Bro.
absolutely, Bull 80. Al Pacino's awesome, and I hope I never find his political views or to be really bad. It doesn't sound like it. Sorry to bring politics back into it, but man, I really like it.
1985, Bull.
Shout out, Bull. Great comment, Bull. Great comment.
Fucker.
Stray Lucifer is a good show, but it's not a movie, so it couldn't, it's not eligible on here. But, Al Pacino may have played a decent devil, but Tim Curry, there's no one that's ever looked the part better than Tim Curry in this film.
Right.
But anyways, this was only picked by two of us, so it gets a rank of C.
That's 1985, yo.
Next on the list,
A little twin.
this was picked by a couple people, Digital Caveman, Ed, and Moto Viper.
Yes.
Moto, why don't you start us off on Beyond Thunderdome?
Okay. So we start off with Mad Max fucking losing his car, finds out where it's at, is being refined for pig shit for fuel, makes a deal with Tina Turner. But to prove himself, he must enter the Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Of course, he proves himself and then fucking makes it to, pretty much the same thing where Tina Turner says at the end, look at us. Aren't we the pair? Because they are the exact same fucking person. I could go on, but you picked me first, so god damn it, I gotta let other people talk, but there's nothing else.
I don't know if I'd say they were exact same. Tina Turner had
nobody
bigger
else
tits.
brings anything up. I got a bunch more shit that I can bring up. Like Captain.
All right. Well,
Captain.
we'll see what other people say. Ed, how about you?
It's not the best Mad Max film, but I remember enjoying it and watching it a lot. And Tina Turner is awesome in that role. She almost steals that film. That's how good her performance is.
Another hero.
And yeah, the songs from it, man, especially One of the Living, y'all should go listen to that. That is like a hard ass rocking song. And it's dude from the Lost Boys that did the saxophone. He's in there too. And a great
Frank,
film.
I can't hear Ed. He's breaking up as you're singing.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I was just saying, yeah, she has a song One of the Living on there where she's playing guitar. It's just badass. And somebody in the chat said that the sax player from the Lost Boys film, which was probably one of the best horror films, vampire films of the 80s. The guy that played the sax in that played the sax on that song. So that's how those films are connected. But this is a great film. I enjoyed it.
Digital, how about you?
Who Run Bartertown? But, you know, a great movie. Tina Turner, you know, at the time she was, you know, trying to make a name for herself in the movies. And I think this was a really good attempt for her, even though, you know, you can probably name on one hand, you can count on one hand how many movies that she was in. Not how many movies were about her, but how many movies she was in. And then, of course, Mel Gibson playing Mad Max, you know. But where in the hell do they find all those ugly little kids?
From the mines.
No, these kids are too ugly for the mines.
I mean, do they put out a casting call for we want the ugliest kids in Australia or what? Because
the elders died off and those kids left behind.
All right, it's Digital's turn, brother.
Sorry.
But you know, and I like it. Probably has it probably has the most iconic Mad Max line in it, and Frank hit on it. You know, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, and you know how many times has that been quoted in other movies? So that's what I have to say.
Nice, yeah. And you know, where would Tina Turner be today if she just rolled over and said, "Hit me again, Ike, and this time put some stank on it"? Curtis, how about you?
I do need to watch this again. It's been probably 20 years since I watched this, maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, it didn't catch my eye really. I like Tina Turner in it, and I like the Thunderdome, of course, Mel Gibson, but the story I guess didn't catch me too well as a youngin.
Shame on you.
But I gotta watch it again, so I digress. Let's go.
Yeah, for me, this is the weakest of the Mad Max movies. It's not bad by any stretch,
Right?
but it is the weakest in my opinion. And I think what drags it down for me, because all the bits in the Thunderdome with Tina Turner and Mel Gibson are fantastic,
Right.
but once the kids get involved, it just bogs it down for me. And yeah, those kids are too ugly for the mines. I would not let them. I would never hand them a pickaxe. I'm afraid they would wind up cleaning their teeth with it instead of mining for cobalt. But you know, what are you gonna do? M3, anything to add about Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome?
No, I've never seen it.
All right, then. Anything new in the chat?
Yeah, fucking OG Skywatch says always check the radiation level of your local prostitutes. TKD Bar's here. What up, TKD Bar?
Good advice, man. Good advice, OG.
Rob 78, Tina Turner made the movie great. Boss Man said definitely one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. Geek said same here, Boss Man. Always.
Do you think you can rectify that and watch this movie?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching.
Well, this was picked by 3, so it's our first B rank movie of the night. Next on the list, European Vacation. Picked by Ed and Curtis.
Woo!
So let's see here. Ed, you haven't gone first in a while. Why don't you go first?
To me, it's one of Chevy Chase's last funniest films before he became unfunny to me and irrelevant. He had his time. It's just a great film. I remember watching, and of course, the Christmas Vacation one we'll see later. That's a classic. But this was just a fun movie. I mean, kids, Big Ben. You know, there's so many things about it. The first one is the best. Well, I don't know. Some people would say the Christmas one is. But European was fun. And for this year, if we had to pick something, it had to be in my top 10. I felt like I owed it that much. It's a good film.
Yeah, I agree. I will be saying the Christmas one is better on our next episode, which is Christmas movies. Curtis, why don't you tell us your thoughts?
Yeah, I really like this. I was like 11 years old. This came out, and I saw a pair of titties, jiggle around. It was great.
Yeah.
I like the German dance scene, and he starts beating people up and stuff, and it was just really funny to me as a kid. I liked it a lot, and I still do. So it's one of my top 3 for Chevy Chase and the National Lampoon Vacation stuff.
Nice. For me, it goes to prove that you can safely send your children to the mines. The Griswold's children were completely interchangeable in every single movie.
Yeah.
So, if you send your kids to the mines, you could just replace them with some other actors and you'll be fine. M3, what did you think about European Vacation?
What's the mom's name in real life?
Beverly D'Angelo.
Yeah, she in the first one, she was in the shower and we saw her titties in that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then this one, does she show her titties again? And that's what's on the picture up on the van when it drives by?
Yeah, the French guy and all that shit.
Oh, okay, yeah, great. I think Beverly D'Angelo is hot, and I like her a lot. I think it's great, and I paused and unpaused that portion of the film quite a bit. But the first one that came out, not this one here. The first one, I remember being like in the first grade, thinking those are nice tits, man. Rewind, pause. Great, dude. But anyway, this movie here. Good movie, but not one of my favorites of the trilogy by far, or the quadruple. What's 4 movies? A series at that point?
Quartet.
A quartet. Ooh, and then a quintet. Yeah, a quintet, and then a sextet. Yeah. That's like
Well, we know that you like the sextet the best. Keep in mind, folks, M3 is a happily married man, so you can have your opinion about titties and still keep your wife. Digital, how about you? What did you think of European Vacation?
I remember liking it, but this movie literally made me scared of roundabouts. I still to this day.
That is so
if I can avoid them, I will, but it's getting to where now like the government is funding roundabouts because they say they do better at alleviating traffic than red lights. So they're giving out money and places are putting them here. And even here in, little podunk Southeast Georgia, we have one in this town and it's only a 1 lane, thank God. So it's not too hard to navigate, but I fear the day when we're going to get, multiple lane roundabouts everywhere. I just,
they'll never go more than 2. There's ones that's going to go straight, one that's going to go right.
Right. Well, Frank, anything to say about European Vacation other than roundabouts?
To me, this is the best one of all of them. And a family tradition is Christmas Vacation. But I saw this in the theater. And I want to say maybe I finally turned 13 at this one. And he's got the girl with the lederhosen. She shows her titties. He hears the bells goes off. He automatically knows it's his dad. Shit's going down. I mean, this whole movie, the sister looks at Cabalsa Sandwich and thinks of fucking Cobra Kai Johnny. It's like, fuck. I mean, this movie is fucking great, dude. This movie. I mean, I saw National Lampoon's Vacation on cable. And because I could buy a ticket and get away with it, I went in and saw this movie. And I absolutely, truly enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I can't really say anything bad about it. Shit, I'm trying to think of something bad that I can actually say about this movie, guys, but I can't.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Let me help you out there, Frank. They wore berets.
Well, yeah, but that was Clark's thing,
Yeah, well, all I have to say about it is look how ripped Chevy Chase got for this role.
More than Chuck Norris.
Like, holy shit, man. He's like Stallone level.
That's great.
But anyways, this was picked by 2, so it gets a rank of C. Moving on. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. shockingly only picked by 3 of us.
What are you
Travesty.
shocking, bro?
Curtis, why don't you start us off on Pee-wee's Big Adventure? Oh, Curtis isn't there. M3, why don't you start us off on Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Ha! This motherfucking guy was an introduction to funny adult. He's obviously adult. And then I was watching it when I was like 9, right? And I love Pee-wee, man. The motherfucker. And we didn't know if he was gay, what he was doing. He was kind of like a It's Pat, on Saturday Night Live. But he did really good. I loved his bike, man. I love that there was a girl that was falling in love with him and shit. And he blew her off like he's a rebel and shit. I'm a rebel, Dottie. A loner. Oh, it's great. The magic shop was one of my favorite things, dude. And in the end, oh man, the good guy fucking wins, man. It's great. Good for him.
Yeah, Dottie was hot, man. Curtis, what do you got to add about Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
It was a big adventure for right. It was really good. I watched this over and over again all the time as a kid. Still watch it today. It's a good comedy. Kind of family comedy, kind of in a way, but hidden of adult comedy,
Oh, yeah, show it to your kids if you want them to be dumber.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, look. Yeah, go ahead, Curtis. I'm sorry.
I was just saying it was great. It was a great movie.
Yeah, I love this movie. This is Tim Burton's theatrical debut. This is Danny Elfman's first theatrical score. And incidentally, Danny Elfman had 2. He had a hit like in a theatrical score for this movie for Tim Burton. And he had a hit on the pop charts with the title track to a movie that's later on in our list today.
Yes.
Now, this movie, how do you make a movie about a bike getting stolen this entertaining? It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I love all the humor in it is hilarious. Oh, Franklin's having his bath. Yeah, where are they hosing him down? Great stuff. Great stuff. Dottie is super hot. Dottie, the actress that plays Dottie in the movie at the end of it is even hotter. Morgan Fairchild, oh, come on, man. Morgan Fairchild. But anyways, yeah, and they film a Twisted Sister music video in this. And, I want to rock. So what are you going to do? M3, it looks like you have something to add.
Forgive me. That's Jim Carrey's debut also. He was the guy in the bed that came out and was singing and shit, man.
Yeah.
Well, Tim Carrey's debut was in another movie that came out this year, was Once Bitten.
Okay, so I wonder which one came out in what month, you know what I mean? But yeah, sorry to interrupt. That's all I got.
Frank, how about you? What did you think of Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
I was really stoked to go see this movie. We were seeing it at a mall, and we were buying time, and my mom and dad went into a sex shop and bought a fucking dildo, and it fucked me all up. And then so when the movie started, that's all I could think about was that ass play shit that they were going to be doing. And
that's fucking tight.
As this movie went along, all I could think of was how much I hated that fucking Clarence, dude. I wanted to beat the shit out of that Clarence. I want to slit the fucking Clarence's throat. And Dottie was way too hot for fucking Pee-wee. This dude's a fucking. He's not a nerd. He's. I don't know what the fuck this dude is.
I would assume he suffers from Peter Pan syndrome like Michael Jackson.
And that's how I felt about this movie. I was excited for the movie till the vibrator came in, and then after that, I was fucked up.
That's great.
Well, all right. Digital Ed seems busy, so I'm going to skip him and go to you.
Well, I'm going to pull an M3 again, and I've never seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure. In fact, I've never watched Pee-wee Herman anything.
What? Oh, my God. All right, we're cutting him off. And you go ahead, man.
Paul Reubens is a genius of comedy to pull this character off for so long. And and it's a satirical look at things and how people perceive you, and you think this guy is just some weird kind of twerp, and he's being himself, man. He's just cool in his own way, and it's just he's like a rebel but an anti-rebel. It's so cool. It works on so many levels. But yeah, this is a great film. It's incredibly funny. It's very inventive, and Paul Reubens was a genius for creating that character of Pee Wee Herman, and that's why we're still talking about it today. It's a great film.
Now, Digital, I want to let you know, I didn't cut you off because you didn't like Pee Wee Herman, but this is Tim Burton's first theatrical release, man.
Okay, I think I need to explain it a little bit why I've never watched this movie or Pee Wee Herman anything. It's because, like you said, when Curtis was talking, let your kids watch this if you want them to get dumber. I think that's how my dad looked at it. So we were not allowed to watch Pee Wee Herman anything, Big Adventure, Playhouse, nothing when I was a kid. My dad did not allow it, and I guess as an adult, I just never felt the need to go back and
no, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Well, look, all I'll say is if you're a Tim Burton fan at all, you have to at least give this movie a shot. M3, you had your hand up.
Forgive me, I was waving to Heather. She came in to say hi.
Oh, all right.
Thanks, Heather.
All right. Well, this was picked by 3 of us, so it gets a rank of B. Moving on, next movie on the list, Rambo: First Blood Part 2, picked by Digital Caveman and Ed. Digital, why don't you go first this time?
Oh my God, how did only 2 of us pick this movie? I don't know.
Amen.
You know,
Bro,
it's like they took First Blood and cranked it up to 11, and I never thought as a child that bow and arrows were cool until Rambo was shooting explosive arrows through stuff.
shot that dude now.
At stuff. And those Russian helicopters, like the one they just showed in the preview there, they might have been really shitty helicopters in real life, but God, they look badass. And I mean, it's the 80s. It's a Stallone movie.
Yeah.
Everybody has seen this.
Fucking A, right, baby.
And, jumping up with machine guns. He had that badass knife.
Fuck yeah, there he goes. Look at that. Oh my God.
And I'm sorry, Chuck Norris, and please don't kill me, Chuck Norris, but he did the Vietnam vet. Stallone did the Vietnam vet movies much better than you did in Missing in Action. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, this movie fucking rocks.
Okay, that's I'm gonna let some other people speak about it.
In fact, we'll get to you now because Ed seems to have walked away.
What happened?
Go ahead, Frank.
Oh, I was agreeing too much. My bad.
Well, you can agree, but don't be vocal about it because when you talk, it cuts him off.
Oh,
Excuse me.
power over Ed
No, you were
Ed's
talking
off
over
doing
Digital.
something.
or digital? I got the power over digital.
Well, it's just when 2 people are talking at once, the other people break up, and it's not clear.
I just meant
it's
nothing
clear.
but respect towards digital because I couldn't agree more with everything he was saying. I mean, look at
Well, that
every scene.
wasn't a
Every
opinion.
scene was $1 million scene, bro. This shit is great.
Yeah.
Ed, how about you?
Hey, sorry, I'm on puppy patrol here. How did y'all not pick this? This is a quintessential action film. As much as you got to pick an Arnold film in the 80s, you definitely have to pick a Stallone film. Other than the Rocky films, man, this was the film when it came out. It still holds up. The action is just over the top. It started a whole genre of just movies where they never ran out of ammunition. There was endless clips, and yes, it wasn't realistic, but it was a good movie, and it had a lot of heart for him coming back and Vietnam veterans at the time not being appreciated, knowing Johnny Rambo's story. It really kind of brought it home. As much as First Blood is probably a better film, this just went like popcorn summer fun action film on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over the top. This thing is more American than the American flag, probably, or something. I don't know. It's just that this is like in our DNA, this film. I mean, this is a great film. Love it.
Yeah, see, I'll go next just because I want to counter on what you said there. See, for me, the first Rambo movie was this awesome, intimate view of a single Vietnam vet being rejected by a town and taking matters into his own hands. And it was done so well and so just fantastic. And then this one was just popcorn action. I didn't get the same level of storytelling out of it, which is why it didn't make my list. The First Blood, masterpiece. This
Fair.
popcorn action movie. Curtis, how about you? Curtis, you muted.
I totally agree with you on that. Totally agree with you. It's a popcorn flick. It's okay. It's nowhere near as good as the first one. There's a lot better action movies in that one. It was like, I don't know. It was okay to me. That's all I got to say about it.
Nice. M3, anything to add about Rambo before you address the chat?
Yeah, I loved this movie. It's fucking great. The only reason why it's not on mine is exactly what Prophet said, except for I didn't use a term in my head, popcorn or anything like that. I really like the second one, and I think it goes its own way and does really, really well. It's fucking awesome. And especially when he's like, Murdoch, I'm coming for you. Fucking slams the Russian
man.
mattress, whips up the fucking electricity, fucking nails it, dude. Rambo is a fucking badass. But I chose Explorers over this because I had to choose as a trilogy which one was my favorite, and it's definitely the first one. Like, awesome. And my name's mentioned in the first one. First line, you're welcome, Ortega. And then Geek Homeworld says, Boss Man, this film is an American bombast at its best. Love this movie. Had the action figures and the weapons. I remember the toy, Boss Man. And
Yeah.
best scene when he was hidden in the mud. Fucking dope, dude.
That was the first one.
Right.
That was the first one.
Oh yeah, so you can easily get kind of like mixed up. Yeah, but yeah, great movie.
Nice. Yeah, this one I didn't mind leaving off my list, but later there is a Stallone movie that I hated leaving off my list.
Oh,
But because it was picked by two, it gets a rank of C. Next on the list is one of my solo picks. No one else picked it. I personally think this is one of the funniest movies ever.
I agree.
I absolutely love this movie. And it's like, a genius college, and the students have basically been duped into designing weapons for the government without knowing it. But what they do when they find out about the weapons, it's just great. And this movie is like just filled with some of the best sarcastic comedy ever. The teacher's like, "What's that smell? That's popcorn. I hate popcorn." He's like, "Great, now I know what to get you for your birthday." It's just full of humor like that. And it's magnificent. Val Kilmer's never been funnier than he is in this movie. That was a great scene right there. Val Kilmer hits on her and she says, "Can you hammer assistant Spike through a board with your penis?" And he says, "Not at the moment." And she says, "Well, a girl's got to have standards." And incidentally, yes, it's true. That teacher has no penis. But I'll leave it at that and let some other people talk about it. Ed, you're a tech guy. Why don't you go next on Real Genius?
This is an awesome film. It was hard to leave it off. There were better films, and this is a next level kind of film. It's almost like its own genre of film. It's so inventive, but it just didn't make my top 10.
All right, Digital Caveman, Digital insinuates some tech stuff for you. How about, what did you think of Real Genius?
It's funny you said Ed was a tech guy, but as far as the movie goes, I thought this movie was funny, and there's only one movie that Val Kilmer's in that I like him better in, and it wasn't really a comedy, and that's Tombstone, where he played Doc Holliday. And
he's great in that. When we get to the 90s, I'm sure we'll have that.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie. But, this one was funny. The laser, and then they figure out really what's going on, and they laser the popcorn in the dude's house, and it's like busting out the roof and the windows, and it looks like snow, but it's popcorn, and people are running in the yard and eating the damn yard popcorn at the end. And I mean, it's a fantastic movie, and it's hilarious. And
It really
if you like Top Gun, it's funny on that level, but not in as silly a way.
Moto Viper, how about you? What did you think of Real Genius?
I saw it once, and that was enough for me.
Well, all right. Curtis, how about you?
Really, really funny movie. I'm sad that I didn't get to pick it and put it on. It was hard to not to put it on my top 10. It was just freaking hilarious. It still is to me. And like, smoke a bowl and watch this.
Great. M3, we know why Laszlo goes in the closet. Why do you do it?
Yeah, that whole movie was pretty good. I only watched it for my first time because of Prophet liked it so much. So I chose to watch it recently, and it's a pretty good movie. Did you know that girl that kisses the lucky 15-year-old, that motherfucker? And Boof, that's Boof and fucking Teen Wolf and shit. Her real name's like Michelle something, but all through the movie I thought she was so fucking cute. And I was like, there's something about her. What the fuck? And then I looked her up, and I was like, oh shit, she's fucking Boof. And that was great. Great to hear that. But Val Kilmer, funny dude. A lot of the shit, I went to college, and I never really had to deal with dorms or anything like that. So I can only imagine how fucking fun it would be. They made it fucking fun. And they're so genius. Val Kilmer, his character, he realizes, don't go crazy like the dude in our closet. You got to do funny shit and dumb shit to keep yourself on a dumb level, but still be smart. That was his, like, to me, that's what I picked up from him.
Right. And it turned out Laszlo was the smartest one among them. But on what you said earlier, Digital, there is one other Val Kilmer movie that I also put above this one in terms of his performance, and that would be Mad Mardigan in Willow.
Mad Mardigan.
I didn't even think of that one right off. I was hoping you weren't going to say Batman Forever, because
Oh no, come on!
We'd
I
had
would
a
never.
fight.
Batman
Jesus
Forever.
Christ,
Hell
man.
yeah.
Oh,
Look,
Curtis,
we're not going to talk
man,
about nipples on the bat suit, but unfortunately, I'm the only one that picked this, and it got a rank of D. Next on the list is the Stallone movie that I hated leaving off my list. I love this movie, but I just didn't have room.
It's un-American of you.
It's again, it's Digital and Ed. Last time we let Digital go first, so Ed, why don't you lead us off this time?
Just like Rambo, Johnny Rambo was like, you got to think this is like the middle of like Reagan. This was the middle. This is you guys' favorite time in the world. We were America this, America that. And Rambo was all that bombastic. And the Russians, we were in the Cold War, which, wow, look where we are again. But the Russians and the Americans, this is such an epic film. And it taken place in the time that it was taking place, it made it even more powerful. This is probably my favorite Rocky film, other than probably the first one. And it's a great film. It's everything about it is just wonderful. It's just so 80s. It's so Stallone. It's him at his best, at his prime. Everybody in it is just great. It's a great film.
Digital?
Well, kind of like what Ed alluded to. He didn't actually come out and say it, but it was the height of the Cold War, and here we have in the boxing ring, the Cold War turning into a hot war. And, there we went. Training montages, that was a staple of movies at the time. We had, some type of montages going on in it. And, the fact that we come out of the first and it's all American feel good, and Apollo Creed is going to crush this stinking commie, and then the commie just kills him. I mean, just smack, and he's dead.
That was powerful.
And then so Rocky had to have his revenge, He had to have America's revenge and destroy the commies. And that's basically the story of Rocky IV. And this may not, I wouldn't necessarily say this is my favorite Rocky movie, but this is probably the one that I've watched the most.
Yeah, I'd say for me, this ranks at number 3 with the Rocky films because 1 and 2 are just a masterpiece of cinema. This is amazing, and it gets some of the best dialogue. Like, I love when they're in the ring having their fight, and Rocky like makes him bleed, and he's like, "You see, he bleeds. He's human." And on the other side of the corner, they're going, "He's not human. He's a machine." You know what I mean? It's fucking awesome. Just the way that flips throughout the film. I love that Apollo's team picked up for Rocky because Mickey died in the last one. So yeah, and Brigitte Nielsen, in her prime. Moto Viper, how about you? We can't hear you, Moto.
We can't hear you, Moto.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, Moto, we're gonna let Curtis go while you sort that out.
Oh, it was a great film. Gets you that, thing in the heart, you're like all into it. You're like standing up, watching it during the last fight and stuff, It gets a lot of emotions going. It introduces us to like steroids, basically. And of course, the Russians are doing it, which they got caught like 5 years before that at the Olympics using steroids or something, horse tranquilizers or some shit like that. But yeah, great movie. You guys pretty much covered it already.
Yeah, I actually thought the WWF introduced us to steroids, but anyways, what did you think, M3?
Well, the WWF introduced us to cocaine. Rocky's a great movie, but again, I had to look at it as I think they have 6 out, so whatever. It is in my top 20, and I sent a prophet a list of the other ones that didn't make it on my list. This is definitely one. Yeah, I loved it. It's a great movie. I mean, the training, like Digital saying, the trainings just show like just the being rich and being somebody who they don't give a fuck. They're like, here, you can have this barn. And he still fucking prevails over somebody who's like their war-driven machine, the example of what Russia is. And fucking he took him down and shit. That was great. Sorry, Russia. That's all I
got. Frank, you got your audio working yet? Nah, we still can't hear you, sir.
Yo, Frankie.
M3, why don't you address the chat? It looks like Boss Man had some stuff to say.
Oh, yes, he said.
Hold on, I'll pull it.
That was the first one I saw as a kid. The perfect bad guy in Dolph. Apollo died. Russian crowd cheered for Rocky. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Crazy. But part 3 is his favorite. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Hey, M3, you made a good point, and I thought about this. America, we were all about our technology, but Rocky was really in this film. He was like old school, in the barn. He was doing all the sawing stuff, and Russia was trying to show their best technology with how they could train Drago and all that. So it's kind of interesting because it was a flip opposite of where we were then technology wise. So it kind of interesting take on things.
Well, and Ed, you mentioned Reagan earlier. And honestly, it was Reagan's push in the military. Reagan's glorifying and making heroes out of our soldiers that made G.I. Joe possible. So I appreciate that because I wouldn't exist.
No, I do. No, I'm just saying this is like the quintessential like Reagan-esque time, for America. This is like one of the quintessential East versus West films. It like it says, get ready for the next world war. And you felt it. Even the music that Survivor did, the song is just, stuck in your head. It's not Eye of the Tiger. Yeah.
We hear you. All right, Frank, you're back on. Why don't you give us your opinion?
Okay. This movie right here was humbling. This movie, we saw Rocky persevere through a lot of shit, but it was all personal. But this was for the country, and he went there to train, and he did everything he needed to do. And after he beat that goddamn machine's ass, he said, "I know that I can change because I have changed, and I know you can change. So if I can change and you can change, then we can all could change." And Gorbachev got up and clapped his hands, yo. That was a feel-good moment of the movie. It sucked that Apollo Creed died, but maybe it was a fire that he needed to. I mean, he could have went dark. He could have went dark as fuck, but he took the truth, justice, and the American way as a Rocky Balboa should. And this movie is fucking awesome. And 1985 can suck in a dick because we should have done top 20 in 1985.
Understandable. But sadly, because we only did the top 10, this was only picked by 2, and it gets a rank of C. Next on the list, Rustler's Rhapsody. This is picked by Digital Caveman. So, Digital, why don't you walk us through this Western?
Okay. The entire premise of this movie is what if a singing cowboy got put into the real Wild Wild West, or at least the movie Wild Wild West. And as far as Tom Berenger is the singing cowboy, and you know, he goes around like he's on his white horse, and he has this big wagon that he carries around that has his wardrobe in it that you see during this scene at his campsite. And there you see there, this guy's tried to shoot him, and he shot him in the hand. Every one of them. That's was his signature as a singing cowboy. He didn't kill anybody. He shoots everybody in the hand. And, you know, they go and complain to the big bad boss. They see that guy just hurt himself. And it's the guy from Police Academy.
Yeah.
You know, if you haven't seen this movie, it is a great laugh. And, you know, Tom Berenger, he does sing a little bit in it. And there's just tons and tons of funny stuff.
Holy shit.
This movie, yeah. So if you have never seen this movie, I do implore you, watch it at least one time. You may love it, you may hate it, but
I get it.
It is a hilarious movie.
Yeah, I didn't remember this movie at all until you had mentioned that he shoots people in the hands. And then I'm like, no, I definitely saw this movie when I was like 12 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't seen it since. But I do remember enjoying it at that time. Frank, anything to add about Rustler's Rhapsody?
I didn't really care for it. My grandfather turned me on to it and said, let's watch this movie. And he watched it and he would laugh and shit. But he was also the guy that liked to watch MASH every day at fucking 5:30. But I didn't really get it. I love Westerns because it's my grandfather that turned me on to it. But this shit was fucking gay. I'm going to leave it at that.
All right, Ed, how do you feel about Frank's gay bashing?
Oh, yeah. Kill all the gays. LGBTQ2ZYX.
He's kidding if you guys are watching.
Yeah, we here
that
at Sergeant Schultz Star Wars Squawk Box do not endorse the views of Moto Viper.
To address the movie and not the comment, I never saw the film, so I can't really judge it. I actually never heard of it.
It
Well,
is
now you have
definitely
to go
worth
watch
a watch if you want a comedic Western.
like
M3,
Tom
I
Berenger.
assume you have not seen this film?
Big M said
Yeah.
it was canceled. No,
Oh, no.
I haven't heard of it.
Canceled from what?
That's all I
Nah,
got.
you're not canceled, man. You can't be canceled unless you let them cancel you.
He's playing. He's playing.
Is Mike Tyson fight now?
No, we're laughing. We're laughing. Hey, that's funny. I love it. Hey, because all the gay long and shit.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. That's all I
Nice.
got.
M3, have you seen it?
No.
Yeah.
All right, Curtis. What about you? Have you seen it?
No, I have not seen it, so I couldn't really say anything.
No.
All right. It looks like only a few of us have seen it,
Huh?
and 2 out of 3 liked it. So take that for what you will, people. But at the end of
Maybe-
the day, only Digital had room on his list for it, so it gets a rank of D.
Maybe M3 will take me out to watch it one day.
There you go. Well, I'm just worried about Curtis taking me out, period. Next on the list, Silver Bullets,
Yeah.
picked by Digital Caveman and Moto Viper. Moto, why don't you lead us off on this one?
Okay, so this is again, it's 1985. It's hard, but I had to think about my age and what I was doing and what movies I watched the most. And this crazy uncle builds this badass fucking moped go-kart fucking thing for his nephew. And he's out trolling around one night. He's checking shit out. He fucking witnesses that werewolf that everybody's fucking talking about. But the werewolf notices him too. So he goes back to his fucking house. The next day, the motherfucker's got that fucking wound on his eye. Just like that fucking werewolf that night where he set off that bottle rocket. So I'm not gonna take any more from the movie, but I wanted to throw that in there because to me that was the game changer of the movie. I loved it. It was one of those movies as a kid. I don't know about an adult, but as a kid, you kick back, you watch this, and you're like, fuck yeah. And my sister's got my back. Let's fucking do this. Let's rock and roll, motherfuckers.
Nice. Digital, how about you?
Well, Corey Haim, he rides his little motorcycle wheelchair out and, when he's not supposed to, and he's shooting off fireworks and he shoots a werewolf in the fucking eye with a bottle rocket.
Yeah.
With a bottle rocket. Who can shoot a werewolf in the fucking eye with a bottle rocket?
Corey Haim.
Corey Haim
I can.
as a cripple in a motorcycle
Just his
wheelchair.
legs, motherfucker.
And
Not
then,
shoulders and arms.
then, not to mention, Gary Busey is the crazy uncle before we knew he was fucking crazy as shit.
I would love to have him as an uncle.
I mean, what's not to like? It's Stephen King. I mean, and who would have ever thought? Nobody would have guessed it was the damn preacher until he shows up the next day with an eye patch.
Goddamn, yes! Thank you.
What happened to you? Oh, some little shit shot me in the eye with a bottle rocket.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let somebody else talk about it now. That's a
I do admit that was
movie.
a really good reveal. A
Sister
great
Mary
inventive
farted
way
on
to
my
do the
pillow,
reveal.
and now I got black eye. I mean,
All
come
right,
on.
go ahead, Frank.
No, I already went. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you keep talking over everybody, so I just want to let you get it all out so that the rest of us can talk uninterrupted.
Go ahead, buddy.
Curtis, what about you? Silver Bullet?
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time as a kid. It was a great movie. I liked it a lot. I wish I could have another one. I wish I could have picked, but just ran out of,
Space. Understandable.
Yeah.
Ed, how about you?
I actually have never heard of this film. I've never seen it. I may have to check it out. I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
What happened to you as a kid?
What do you mean?
He was chasing rainbows.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
There's nothing wrong with liking Skittles. M3, how about you?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. The only thing bad I could say about it wasn't my depiction of like a werewolf, but the priest or the pastor was great because exactly what was said. The whole movie was cool. The bike was cool. Gary Busey was cool. Just the fact that the uncle took a liking and akin to mechanics and taught the kids some shit. Corey Haim and Corey Feldman have always been a good duo and shit. I know that Feldman's not in this, but just saying, I like them as actors. It was cool. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Good movie. It just didn't get my list because there's just explorers.
Well, you know, Feldman is in a movie later on the list today, but this one only got picked by 2, so it gets a rank of C. Next on the list, Spies Like Us, only picked by M3. Hard to leave this off the list, but there just wasn't room. M3, tell us why you loved it enough to put it on your list.
Man, when they get rushed through their training, they do the G-force fucking shit. They get thrown in the fucking mud pit and fucking machine guns fired at them. Then they're just like, oh, we're really important. And they dumbingly go directly into battle and just fucking wing it. And they think they're doing a great job. Like, literally think they are doing a great job. Oh, I loved it. And then the girl in there, the blonde, the blue-eyed, oh, beautiful, beautiful doctor.
Oh shit.
Doctor. And then he goes up. Oh, and man, I'm fucking 9 years old, dude. I love that titty shit, man. Ooh, man. And that was great. It was great, man.
Yeah.
Good flick. That's all I gotta say.
Curtis, how about you? What do you think of Spies Like Us?
I liked it a lot. Pretty much what M3 said. That's all I got.
All right. Moto, anything to add?
It's the movie I would expect from Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase in this era. It was good. It was really good. Some good one-liners and fun to watch.
Nice. Yeah, I personally kind of view this as kind of like the military version of Maxwell Smart, where they accident their way into getting shit done. Digital, how about you? What did you think?
I thought it was a funny movie back in the day, and the chicks were hot, and I just wish Chevy Chase could be as funny now as he was, back in the mid 80s and early 80s. And Dan Aykroyd, I don't think he's become unfunny at all. I mean, I think there's some choices maybe he's made role wise where it didn't really fit.
Nothing but trouble.
Yeah. But this was a good movie. And like's been said many, many times, this is a really hard year.
Indeed it was, my friend. Indeed it was. But sadly, the only person that had room on their list was M3, so this gets a rank of D.
Yeah.
It hurt me to leave this one off. I really do love Spies Like Us.
Yeah.
But next on the list, one of Curtis's picks, Summer Rental with John Candy.
Damn good pick.
Curtis, why don't you tell us about Summer Rental?
This family goes to the beach for vacation, basically, and they end up getting on a boat race. That's pretty much it. It's really funny. Really, 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 really funny to me. That's all I'm going to say about it.
All right. M3, anything to add?
John Candy, rest his soul. John Candy was very funny in a lot of movies, and he had that obvious, he's the heavier set guy, the fat guy at the fucking amusement park with the Griswolds, and he gets shot in the ass with a BB gun. This one right here, he's just that dad, that he's got his own problems, dude. He goes through shit, dude. The poor guy the whole damn time, dude. I love him. I love John Candy. That's all I gotta say. Good movie though.
Yeah.
All right, Ed, anything to say about Summer Rental?
I never saw it. John Candy is a genius. So I never saw the film. I couldn't put it in my top 10, but he's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For me, I thought this movie was pretty great. I as far as vacation movies with John Candy go, I think Great Outdoors was better. But I remember being in the video store and seeing this videotape cover and thinking these poor girls are about to die. If John Candy steps on them, they're dead.
Yeah.
They're not going to survive that. Digital, what do you think?
I think John Candy is the reason us fat guys get that reputation for being jolly. Other than Santa Claus, of course. But I love John Candy. He got took from us too soon. And I do remember watching this movie. It was on VHS. And I probably rented this sometime after I watched Uncle Buck. And I just remember it being funny and not funny enough to remember it enough to watch it all a lot and put it on the top 10 list. But I do remember it being funny because what's not to laugh at with John Candy?
All right. Well, M3 Moto, do you like John, or do you think he ate too much candy?
No, I love this movie. I absolutely love it. It was another one that was hard not to put on the list. You can relate as a dad, trying to make sure everybody else is happy while you're trying to relax at the same time. You find something that's going to make you relax, but it's not what you expected, and it's to keep the family happy. The last 2 weeks of the summer rental is all based on the boat race, and it's just a good movie. It feels really good. I love this movie. Just too bad I couldn't put it on my list.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah, there was a lot of summer movies, like summer vacation movies back in the 80s, weren't there?
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
M3, why don't you catch us up on the chat before we move on?
Pop said, "What year are we on now?" LOL. Boss Man's laughing. Another movie that scared. Oh, he was talking that. So yeah, Boss Man. That was about me. Yeah, we're that's it.
Nice. Yeah. So since Curtis was the only one that picked it, in spite of the fact that it is great, it gets a rank of D. Moving on. Next film on the list, Teen Wolf.
Yes.
This was picked by M3, Moto, and myself because the three of us have good taste.
That's right.
M3, why don't you lead us off on this one?
Oh, I fucking love it, dude. Kid gets so lucky to have in his genes that he's a werewolf, and he starts transitioning when he's reaching the max of his pubescent stage, dude. And he's going through some shit, and then boom, he becomes this fucking town favorite and shit, man. I love it. And if you don't, I mean, what was it say? Oh, another titty shot in this one. That part right there, they did really good with them. But that always got me as no. It looks just like the cartoon, so I was like, not my favorite werewolf depiction, but the storyline, the movies, the titties, the girls, Boof is in it. Great.
Yeah, I agree that Boof is definitely more attractive than the blonde girl who he's like got the hots for at the beginning.
Yeah.
This movie is great. It's not meant to be like your typical werewolf horror movie. This is a comedy.
Right.
And Michael J. Fox was at his peak in '85. I like for him to put this and Back to the Future out in the same year. That's really an accomplishment, in my opinion. Frank, why don't you give me a keg of beer and your opinion on this film?
Exactly. Well done. I think what I like about this movie the most is that it's the adolescence. It's being a sophomore for me and finding out who you really are and letting your true self out. And you experience that freedom from that. It's not so much the status quo of being this guy or that guy. I mean, now he did get a little punch drunk love with the fame. That's where Booth put his ass in check. And it was good, because a lot of 80 movies were like that, where you wanted to be something that you weren't. You became that thing, but it was your friends and family that put your ass back in perspective. And that's what I really liked about this movie.
Nice. Curtis, you're almost as bad an influence on us as Styles was on Michael J. Fox. Why don't you give us your opinion?
Oh, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Funny movie. I'm sad I didn't pick it. It's just a great, funny movie. Good to sit down and relax and watch and get a good laugh. Great movie.
Nice. Digital, did you want 7 Minutes in Heaven with Booth like M3 did, or do you have a different opinion?
Yes, but I want mine before M3.
Yeah, well, nobody wants M3 sloppy seconds. Let's be real.
No way.
Especially considering it'll probably be a doll.
Yeah.
But great movie. It's been many years since I've watched Teen Wolf, and basically what I can remember from it, he was scoring this shit out of stuff with basketball. He was dancing around on the top of that truck. That was cool as shit. And I guess that's all I have to say. Great movie.
I thought the dancing on the truck was cool too until I saw how disappointed his father was in him for it. Ed's missing, so I guess that's it for Teen Wolf. But this was picked by 3 of us.
Nice.
So it gets the rank of B. Next on the list, this was picked by a good few. The Breakfast Club.
Damn good
M3,
movie.
Moto, and Curtis all picked the Breakfast Club.
Fuck
Curtis,
yeah.
you haven't got to start winning it in forever. Why don't you start us off here?
Oh, great movie. Part of what's his name's group of movies that he did in the 80s. What's the director's name? I can't think of his name.
John Hughes.
John
Hughes. Yeah. And then you had a great cast of people. And some people were just starting, and it's great tunes in it. Hilarious, and it reminds you of real stuff in high school. And that's what I'm going to say about that. I'll let you guys. I know you guys got a lot to say. So
nice. Moto, why don't you go next?
The thing that I remember the most about this movie and being in the high school that I was at, where there was labels, jocks, stoners, skaters, nerds, preps, shit like that. This movie really brought it home for us, for my generation, because you realize, like, there was a time when I would go to school and in Arizona history class, Mr. Swanson, he really loved all the jocks and cheerleaders. Everybody else was a piece of shit in his eyes. But on Saturday and Sunday, I helped break his horses and clean his stall. So I was like his favorite fucking kid. But in class, I was just a nobody. You know what I mean? And so this movie really made me relate to that kind of shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not the carton of cigarettes kid, and I'm not the sushi girl. I'm not the jock. I'm not the nerd, and I'm not the weirdo. I'm like all of them fuckers combined, bro.
The
and
princess.
that's what really drew me to this fucking movie, that it was okay to be who the fuck I was at that time in my life.
Cool.
Awesome. I wanted on record that Moto Viper has a little bit of Molly Ringwald in him.
Yes.
How about you, M3? What did you think?
Oh, I loved it. My sisters watched it, and I watched it with them. It was more their kind of movie because obviously everybody's older. I was 9, so but I got it 100%, and it's great. The fucking humor was great, and this is where you guys see young M3 grows up liking titties, ass, and pussy. My favorite part is when his head is under the desk, in between her thighs, and she squeezes them. That was great. If it was great. Anyway, perfect movie. But yeah, I'm drawn to like Molly Ringwald's character. The kid in the middle, he was in Weird Science, fucking right. And
Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah,
he was
great.
a bunch of
I love that dude. And Emilio Estevez was really popping at that time too, and shit. Great cast. And the principal was like Nolan, or I think it's Nolan and fucking works for the AOI and shit. Ready Player
Guys,
One.
all I'll say is Ali Sheedy is hotter than Molly Ringworm 100%. Ed,
I
how about you?
agree. I
Even
agree.
with the dandruff.
I'm sorry that The Breakfast Club couldn't make my list. It's one of the most awesome films of the 80s. If you were somebody growing up in the 80s, this was like one of your films, man. It's just a great coming of age film. Yeah, it's a good one.
Digital, how about you?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I may have seen it one time all the way through many years ago. But I don't know. For some reason, I watched the shit out of 16 Candles, but not this one. But great cast. John Hughes is a great director. I need to revisit this movie, I suppose.
I won't agree with all that, but I can respect all that for sure.
See, for me, the character in this that didn't work for me was Judd Nelson's character, because he's supposed to be like the cool rebel guy, but any guy who wore fingerless gloves in class just got made fun of, man, as a dork. So I just never understood like why he was the cool dude. I always thought Emilio was cooler, but that's just my opinion, and it doesn't account for much because I didn't pick this film, but others did, and it gets a rank of B.
Nobody knows why, dude, but those gloves and those glasses that had the little piece of leather on the side from the thing and shit.
Those were cool at one time.
That shit was the shit. Like the Rambo knife. I mean, that's what we had. So
when I was in high school, anybody wearing the fingerless gloves in class, I always just thought they were a dork.
Hey, the Rambo knife is still fucking cool, dude.
fucking A, baby.
Hell, it's cooler now than it was then.
Right?
I had the one
Anyways,
you ordered off
moving
the
on.
TV.
I'll do.
Had all the
I
shit in the
recommend-
This
handle.
is a big one, guys. This is a big one. Picked
Yes,
by
get
4
that.
people. DC, M3, Moto, and Curtis all picked Goonies. So, Digital, you haven't started us off in a while. Why don't you start us off on Goonies?
Oh, man, Goonies. What a great cast. What great characters. And, you know, just a crazy ass story. They're going to find pirate treasure, and, you know, they're being chased by modern day criminals who also want the pirate treasure, but didn't know it was pirate treasure. And then had the
Sloth.
other dude, Sloth, locked away because he was he the youngest brother or was he the oldest brother? I can't remember.
I think he was the youngest.
And, you know, I mean, there's at least one kid in this movie that everybody identifies with.
Agree.
And, but I will say this. I think maybe the pirate name One-Eyed Willie was a little suspect for this movie. I think maybe they should have picked another.
That's where it came from. That's where it came from. Was this movie? Quit.
Oh no, I remember One-Eyed Willie before the Goonies came out.
No, you don't. Quit.
But
Anyways,
it's a fantastic movie. Fantastic.
Very
nice. Go ahead, Frank. Why don't you tell us what you thought?
And on that note, my rental period has expired, so I shall return. And take it away, Frank.
It's good that I let you go first then this time. Go ahead, Frank.
Sloth is the shit in this movie, man. Let me tell you what.
Who's playing the sound?
That's me, because I want to tell you about this Goonies movie. This Goonies movie starts off with a bunch of friends hanging out Friday afternoon after school, weekend's about to start and shit. They know what's going on. They know what the parents are facing. And this kid goes up to the attic. They all go up to the attic. They fucking line up this fucking skull fucking artifact with a map and say, hey, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot to save our town, you know? So they all fucking go for it. And it's just adventure after adventure after adventure, because I'm not going to fill in everything because I want people to put everything in perspective. I want everybody else to have their story. But at the end, They finally find the treasure, but they don't get to keep the treasure. But they keep their town, they keep their homes. Next.
Curtis lost Love Chunk. Do you love Chunk too?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about it? You were one of the people that picked this.
I gave it 2 thumbs down. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was a great movie. Everybody I know from anywhere watched the crap out of it. Everybody always talked about it. Of course, it's you and your buddies. It's what you did. You went out exploring in the woods and all kinds of stuff all the time, So it resonated with my surroundings and childhood and all that.
If I can interject real quick, I'd just like to remind everybody watching, we had talked about Explorers and how it was Space Goonies. Just to give you an idea about this movie.
Yep. It's good. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I would suggest at least try it and watch it once, but it's a great movie. It's, what's her name? The redhead. I had a crush on her back then, But yeah, it was one that I still watch today a lot. It's my little brother's favorite movie of all time.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. M3, can you do the truffle shuffle for us before you tell us about what you felt about the movie?
Yes. Oh, that's great. Man, the movie from start to finish was really good. Everything and everybody's saying cool. And it'll be the Land Explorers, right? Pretty good. We used to do that kind of shit when we were kids, and who didn't want to find a fucking treasure map? But
adventure,
Yeah, I mean, I always dreamt of. I used to draw pictures of like finding a treasure map and fucking make my own treasure map.
Dungeons and Dragons and shit. Do you remember?
I'd bury some shit and I'd go looking for it.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's great fucking flick. Oh, Mark Cosplay is here. Bossman says classic movie. And Mark Cosplay is busting Moto Viper's balls on Gladiator 2, bro.
What did I do?
No.
I do like Denzel Washington. What? He went down on somebody all of a sudden? Now I gotta hate him?
Good. I'm glad me and Moto can still stay friends.
All right, come on, guys. Can we rein it in?
We're ruining the show.
Ed, what did you think of Goonies?
Well, it just sounds like we're trying to run the show into the ground. Denzel didn't do anything like that, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
No, they cut that scene out. That's why Mark's going to get him.
They didn't cut the scene out.
It never existed.
It never existed.
Guys, come on. It's Ed's turn. Can you please just let Ed talk?
It's my turn, and I hadn't heard Moto apologize for what he said earlier, which was offensive. But that's when we're talking. It's not funny, and it's not funny. M3, it wasn't. The Goonies. I actually, to be honest, I was never a big fan of it. I realize how great a movie this is and how iconic it is. We wouldn't have Stranger Things, I think, if we didn't have Goonies. Okay. This is an awesome film, but it's just not one that I never really liked it that much. I never watched it that much. I have to give it a chance. Maybe if I view it again, I'll like it better, but it just wasn't one that I was as passionate about putting in this top 10 as everybody else. But if it's an S tier film, I could totally give respect.
No, it's only picked by 4. It's not S tier.
But it could be S tier. It's that good of a film, but it just wasn't for me.
Digital, how about you?
Oh, what? I thought did I talk about Goonies already?
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, you went first. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey,
all right, I guess I'm the only one that's left. And really sorry, Goonies never say die, but I'm going to just to move on because we're going off the rails a little, and I'm not enjoying it. But this is a rank of A.
Oh, wow.
And we're moving on to the next. Jewel of the Nile. Picked by Ed and Curtis. Ed, why don't you lead us off on Jewel of the Nile?
I am fucking offended as fuck.
It should be. The Jewel of the Nile is a fun film, just like its predecessor. It's not as good as the predecessor, but is a very 80s film for me. I love the cast on it. and it was just a fun film. It was kind of like a cheaper version of an Indiana Jones film. When there wasn't an Indiana Jones film, there was one of these films, and you felt like you were swashbuckling, going all over the globe, doing fun things with a fun cast. It's just a fun film. I like it.
Curtis, how about you?
Yeah, I liked it just because it's another adventure film. I like adventure films. It's not as good as the first one, like Ed said. I pretty much agree with Ed on this one. And that's all I'm going to say about this one.
See, my only problem with this one is the first one ends with them getting the ultimate romantic ending where he picks her up in New York on a fucking sailboat. Right. And this one starts out with them on the rocks already. It's like we have no reason to understand why they're already having their relationship troubles. So that kind of turned me off to this right off the bat. And then even in her fantasy, she's going to marry him with dysentery. Come on, man. It's messed up. But it is a good movie. I just didn't think it was anywhere near as good as the first one and just simply did not have room for it on my top 10 list. It might have made it into a top 20, but it definitely wasn't going to make it into a top 10 for me. M3, what did you think of Jewel of the Nile?
Great movie. The first one obviously is the best in my opinion. This one was good. I've seen it a couple times, but anyway, good movie. Good movie. That's all I got to say.
Daniel, how about you?
I think I'll watch this one maybe 2 or 3 times because I feel like it really pales in comparison to the first one. Even though, the magic that was in the first one, Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito, it was all there. It just didn't feel as, I don't know, maybe as cohesive as the first one. Or maybe it was because that was the first time we've seen them all together. Even though I don't think did Danny DeVito have a scene with them?
Yeah, maybe he was the main character.
Yeah. So, it didn't feel, it feels like they were trying to catch lightning in a bottle twice. And, they missed by 10 miles. This one was not ever going to make a top 10 list for me, even though,
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah.
So, but it just didn't hit like the first one did for me.
Agreed.
And it's not
Frank,
to say it's a bad movie, but
sorry about that, Digital.
There's just so many other movies that were in the theater and able to rent. And when I got this on VHS and I watched it, and it was still just fucking meh, And then you went on to the next one that you rented.
Yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes a sequel needs to live up to the original, and I just don't feel like this one did.
No,
But 2 of the people on the panel did, so it gets a rank of C.
it's a money grab.
Next up on the list, The Last Dragon. This one's all you, Curtis. Why don't you tell us about The Last Dragon?
It was what?
who the master?
Great, funny film. Yeah, what's her name right there? Part of Prince's old.
That's what I was going to ask you. Guess that singer's name.
I can't think of her name right now. I know it all the time, but I can't think.
Anybody who can answer on the panel right now, I'll send you a gift.
She was replaced by Apollonia, but
1, 2,
let's see.
3.
Yeah, it's based on a story of who hosts a music show, pop music and stuff. And this bad guy wants this other girl to get in, and she doesn't want to give her the chance. So he gets mad and he tries to kidnap her, blah, 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 all this stuff. He hires this guy named Shonuff. And then the main character is this guy called Bruce Leroy. And he's all into kung fu and karate and all that stuff. And he always tries not to fight and stuff. He tries to do stuff. But then at the end, he really gets into fighting, and it's the whole good guy versus bad guy thing. It's really funny and good. And I'm done.
All right, Moto, go ahead.
Oh, with me and the Last Dragon, I watched it a lot, but I haven't watched it in a long time. But when it came out, I watched it a lot. I liked the rock and roll background. I liked I like the fucking black old school shit that they fucking played. You know what I mean? I liked I liked the kid's sincerity. It was just a really good movie at the time, but it was just a good movie. It wasn't one of those ones that brought it home to me and my house. You know what I mean? But if you wanna say any quote from this movie, I'll know exactly what it is. The movie is that good. It's just 1985 is a bitch, yo. And I'll pass the mic.
Digital, why don't you go next?
Who the master?
Show
Come
enough.
on, nobody. Oh, there we go. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I said it.
So
Show
when I think of the movies that they put under the heading like blaxploitation, this is like the top movie that I think of, and then you have like Dolomite and
Dolomite,
stuff
dude.
like that.
Yeah.
And this is just really a goofy, fun film. And I mean, Curtis pretty much went through everything as far as story wise, but I mean, it's just a fun film, and if you've never seen it, you should watch it at least once.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Ed, how about you?
I totally thought it was a hilarious film. I could watch it any day. It's a very fun film. It's very funny. It's of its time, and it was just a really cool film. It's a lot of fun.
All right, M3, why don't you wrap us up on Last Dragon and then catch us up on the chat?
Me and Curtis started watching it because I had never seen it or heard of it, and we started watching it, but we didn't finish. I think we were 3/4 of the way through, but it was pretty funny. It gave a villain to a community in the East Bronx and shit, or if that's even
Master.
It was great, cool movie. That's all I got. Oh, and then Boss Man said, "Love this movie." Walked around saying, "Show enough" for a week.
Nice. Yeah, I have to say, like, I was very envious of Shownuff's hair. But anyways, only Curtis picked it, so it gets a rank of D.
For D's
next
nuts.
on the list, this is one of Moto's picks. It's the other sequel to Dawn of the Dead.
I can't believe I'm the only one.
Return of the Living Dead. Moto, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you think?
Well, this movie starts out with our boy Freddy getting a fucking job at a medical supply place. You know what I mean? And so he's learning everything from his manager, Frank, and shit. And Frank's trying to impress him and turn him on to shit. So he turns him on to these Easter eggs that you can see right there in these screens for the military. And he says, "Well, fuck, are these things safe?" And Frank says, smacks the shit out of him, says, "Oh, this is U.S. military." Next thing you know, gas seeps from the fucking weld. And it goes all up in their lungs. All that shit goes up through the ventilation system right when it's fucking downpouring in Stockton, California, yo. So then next thing you know, all the grave sites, everything they try. Now, as you can see in the scene right here, this is what they got. They got one cadaver. They got a couple dogs. They got some cats and shit. They think, okay, we'll burn this shit. It'll be okay. But when the fucking smoke goes up into the air with the fucking rain right on the graveyard, all these fuckers start popping up and shit. Now, classic movie, horror movie star Lena Quigley plays in this movie. She plays trash. She's the one that's got the flares. She's the one that's up there naked, beaver shot. I think that's the first beaver shot I seen, and I think that's 1985. I didn't think shaved beaver was cool until like 2002 and shit. I'll be honest with you. But she had it, and she was rocking it, and the thing that she thought that would scare her the most came true. There's a porn star in it, the girl with the blonde hair with a red stripe, who makes it back to the warehouse with the other dude who's in a bunch of 80s movies. Come to find out, she's a fucking porn star. And she is known for this movie. And this guy right here, send more paramedics. I mean, this movie is fucking great. Chock full of 1980s. Now, if you're a stoner and a skater like I was in 1980s, this movie's for you. If you're a fucking prep and a jock, then this movie probably wasn't for you. It was maybe a way for you to get a blowjob in your car. Other than that, this movie wasn't for you. But for me, this movie was 100% fucking heaven, dude. I mean, we can't deny how much this changed the genre. Now, they weren't infected, and they weren't rigor mortis like they even promoted the movie, because they still talked. That throws me off, but that makes me think they're the one of a kind, only one of a kind that do something like that. You know, and then when they brought in Oh Girl.
I can feel myself rot.
Ding.
All right. Well, I'll say this about the film.
So you remember all this shit, right? I mean, this shit was culminated in the 80s when we had Romero. And this company took it to the next fucking level and made it almost teenager-ish for me to fucking say, okay, this is the next step. This is the next step forward. And that's why I picked this movie.
I'll say this about it. I like this better than Day of the Dead. I thought this was a very entertaining zombie movie. I liked the zombies, their ability to like talk and like, you know, try and trick the living into like being food for them. You know, it's again, you know, like Frank said, the full frontal nudity, that was the first for me on this one as well. Well, that wasn't in an actual porn film. But yeah, I think this is better than Day of the Dead for sure.
Actors in this movie.
Ed, how about you?
This is actually not my cup of tea, but I realize how influential and that the Living Dead films are, and Romero's work is genius within this genre. But it's not my thing, but I can respect it, and so I'm sure they're great films from what I understand of them.
Digital, how about you?
I've never seen this movie ever.
What?
Yeah, I know.
It's a fun zombie movie, man. I do recommend it.
So,
Curtis, what about you? Return of the Living Dead?
Oh, I laughed my ass off at this when in 1985. It was really, really fun movie. I liked it a lot. It was great. The whole you still go around today going brains, you know, and all that stuff. And oh my god, it's great. It's, you know, it's a good little you know, waste time, watch some movies type thing to watch. You know, it's really good. I think that. But yeah, it was great. You know, even had a Michael Jackson zombie in there dancing around. Or is that the second?
Two, but I know what you're saying.
That's part two. That was part two. My bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
M3, do you also have a taste for brains?
Yeah, I like this. Is this the one that starts out with the news clip and just talking about Stockton, California, and then there's the gentleman who just passed away. He was in Candyman. Was he in this movie?
No. That you're thinking Night of the Living Dead's remake.
Okay, yeah, Return of the Living Dead. So the only thing about it after watching the trailer was that half zombie that was all decayed, and she's on the table, and she's like, "It hurts," you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, her.
Yeah, I remember this movie, but they mix together for me because I'm not like
yeah, we watched this on Halloween Bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's a great zombie movie. I thoroughly enjoy it. But unfortunately didn't have room for it on my list, and Frank was the only one to pick it, so it gets a rank of D. And now we're on to the last film, guys. The last film.
What?
Already?
This one was picked by everyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
From my heart.
Yeah, we started with an S rank. We're ending with an S rank. And on the last S rank, we went from top to bottom. So now we're going to go from bottom to top. Digital, what did you think of Weird Science?
What a hilarious friggin' movie. I mean, just watch what it. Oh no, that's not big enough. Let's make it bigger and
Look at that body.
you know, and especially like later in the movie when they try to recreate it and instead it makes a huge ICBM missile in their fucking house.
Yes.
I mean, and Kelly LeBrock, I mean,
Bangs, bro.
she is gorgeous.
Fucking leather jacket. And oh, look. Oh, God, dude.
Can you wait your turn,
then-
Frank, please?
And
I'm
then
trying, dude, but you don't understand. This is probably my number one fucking
Curtis,
movie.
would you mute him, please?
the and you know where the Chet, the brother played by oh damn, he's dead now. I can't think of his name. Chet, and she turns him into a big old pile of shit right there. I mean, this movie is hilarious. And if you have never seen it, I want to know what rock you're living under. And also go watch it.
Indeed. Ed, how about you?
This is a awesome film. This is probably every teenager growing up in that time. This was your fantasy. If you could figure out the weird science of it all, you would create Kelly LeBrock. She's everything. She was awesome. And it's an incredibly fun movie. It's just over the top. It's just zany. It's silly. I can't do it justice for all the things that how great it is, and it's definitely an S tier film. It's a classic.
All right. Curtis, you can unmute Moto so he can get his piece in here.
It's unmuted.
No, you're unmuted. He's still muted.
Oh, my bad.
I'll just say Bill Paxton was a great pile of shit, and I love this movie.
Yes. He was.
I agree. M3, do you also think Bill Paxton was a good pile of shit?
Yes. Chips, dips, chains, and whips. You know, your average teenage party. You're out of shape, Al. I'll kick your ass. Hey, and back then, even motherfuckers were playing with dolls and shit. Shout out dolls. Don't forget to hook them up.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say your Kelly LeBrock impression is worse than your Profit Director impression. But yeah, I love this movie. I don't understand the bras on the heads, but you know, what are you gonna do? That it made for good comedy. Bill Paxton, fantastic in it. Kelly LeBrock, fantastic in it. Anthony Michael Hall, fantastic in it. But Lisa, he don't even have a license. You know, it's the Road Warrior shit at the end. Like, this movie is just it's iconic. Like, there's no possible way like for you to see this movie and not take some level of joy out of watching it.
Yeah.
Curtis, why don't you wrap us up on Weird Science? Then M3 could wrap us up on the chat.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, of all time. If you're in a bad mood or a sad mood, just sit down and watch this. It'll pick you up, man. It will pick you up. It's great. All the different vehicles that she just snaps her fingers basically, and they appear like Porsches and Ferraris, and changes the colors of the kitchen and all kinds of shit. It's fucking great. She's got like superpowers, and she's like, I can't wait to meet his parents. That was a great scene. Oh man, great movie. Funny, hilarious, well written. Another Chicago area movie. That's all I gotta say. I'm done.
Nice. M3, I know you can't wait to read Boss Man's post.
Oh man, I think I had a hard on through the whole movie. Was losing my mind. Hey, the first computer titties we seen, man. So that was pretty cool. Mark Oswald says, "Superpower, superpower." That's great, man.
Nice. Well, guys, that wraps up our 80s for us. Here's the final tally here. Well, it wraps up 85, not the 80s, but it wraps up 85 for us. So yeah, we got a couple of movies added to our S tier list. And I think all things considered, it's not bad. Like like Frank said earlier, none of these movies are bad, right?
Not
Being a D tier movie here is not a bad thing. Right? Because there's a shit ton of hundreds of movies that came out in 85 that didn't make anybody's list.
Yeah.
So, everything here I would call a recommendation, right? There's not a single movie on this list that I wouldn't say is worth watching.
100%.
That being said, that's going to wrap us up for the show tonight, guys. I will say this, the next show we're going to do is going to be the Saturday before Christmas. And what we're going to be doing is the top 10 Christmas movies. We're going to be ranking those.
Wow.
And we're going to be inviting a few guest panelists on for that one. So if you're interested and you're available that Saturday and you want to be on the panel, then you need to get me your list as soon as humanly possible. You can give me a list on Instagram. I am PD Destro 1973 on Instagram. And get us your list. If you get us your list before December 1st, there's a good chance you might make it on the panel. But we only have 10 spots, and 6 of them are already taken up. So keep that in mind. Be quick if you want to be in. And I know one of those spots is taken, so there's actually only 3 spots left. So
that's what she said.
Get on it if you want to be part of the Christmas episode. And again, as I tell you guys for everyone, if you want to get your top 10 list into the Christmas episode without actually being on the Christmas episode, then put your top 10 Christmas movies in the comments section for this video after the stream ends. For now, Curtis has put the link in there, and we're going to open it up to backstage for anyone who wants to come backstage and have a conversation with the panel. Feel free to jump on in. We're going to shut it down in about probably 3 minutes or so. And that's going to be the show, fellas.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
What was your favorite movie out of all the movies we talked about tonight? Prophet?
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, hands down.
Hands down.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. It's heavy.
Yeah, I mean, Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies of all time. So it's like, as soon as I saw we were doing 85, I knew Back to the Future. That was the one movie I was positive was going to be S tier.
Yeah, and I was surprised we had 2 S tier movies this year.
I was pretty positive on Weird Science.
I was shocked by some of them that didn't have more votes for them than they did. Some of them more popular.
Everybody should have voted for Commando.
Hey, weird. All of them.
Sorry, man. I needed Better Off Dead and Real Genius in my list.
And Invasion USA, man. Come on. It's Chuck Norris.
I was mad
that no one else picked Clue.
I just thought Rocky and Rambo would have been a little bit higher. But like you said, there's no losers on these lists. So
yeah.
Right. But yeah, anyone who wants to come on in, man, use that link that Curtis put out, because we're going to be shutting it down in just another 2 minutes here.
Yeah, just to let you know, if we said anything offensive or whatever, we apologize. But it's just guys talking. We talk this stuff, and sometimes you get carried away, but I'm pretty sure everybody didn't mean to hurt anybody for anything.
Like grab him by the pussy.
I mean, what happened?
Look.
So,
At the
just
end of the
leave it
day,
as
the
that.
views of the individual panelists are the views of that panelist alone.
Right.
Yeah,
Right?
bro.
If one person feels a certain way, they're entitled to feel that way, and I'll defend their right to feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, to the bitter end. But that doesn't mean I agree with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just saying, even, you know, with the chat and future people that watch this, just know there's no bad intentions really here. So
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Ed, will you tell me what I did though? That we
no, do that.
Well, let's wait till we're backstage.
Yeah.
I will not.
Oh, you won't.
Not live. I won't do it live.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. I was tripping for a second.
No,
I was like,
All right. I hope everybody.
tell him.
Enough fucking said, homie. Enough fucking said.
Yeah.
Enough fucking said.
All right, fellas. Well, the link is in the chat. We're gonna shut it down. You
Yeah.
guys have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you all back for the Christmas list the
Yeah.
Saturday before Christmas.
Jingle bells, Batman.
Have a
Yeah.
great night, folks, and thanks for
Robin
coming.
Hood.
Thanks for being in the chat.
Yeah,
Thanks
hey,
for your
man.
comments, and thank you for your likes and subscriptions. Appreciate it.
Lots of sweet.
Thank you.
And the
Have a
children
great
got
night and a
away.
great weekend. Go Lions!
Go Lions!
South Detroit.
Oh, dog.